everybody. Welcome to GT Live Day 2 of Gamescom. We are not in Germany. We are in Beverly Hills, California. But Gamescom is happening, and according to Daniel Bloodworth, Gamescom is over, right? Gamescom just ended.
Well, yeah, the press day right now, it's closing up. They're heading out to dinner.
So what a perfect time. We came in just right on time to come in at 9 a.m. Pacific time to wrap up Gamescom. I am Brandon Jones. I'm joined by Elise Willems.
Guten Tag.
And Kyle Bossman.
Willkommen.
You have to do that, right?
Do what?
Just you have to say something in German or do a German accent or just kind of
Yeah.
do some, just kind of point out like we're not German, we're not in Germany.
Yeah.
But German things are happening. They're happening on the other side of the world. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope this works out for a lot of our European audience that usually stays up really late to watch our late night stuff when we wrap up the day. But yeah, Gamescom Day 1 has wrapped up. So much stuff to talk about. Matt Blair is over there monitoring the Square Enix Presents press conference, which is probably going to be mostly focused on Final Fantasy 15, which we got a trailer for last night.
Yeah. But
we're still waiting on whether they're going to start or what they're going to show. We're also going to get an update from Call of Duty in an hour. They're going to talk about esports advancements that are coming to Black Ops 3, which I played the multiplayer for, which is pretty excellent. So curious if that's going to be a really cool announcement. Kind of reminds me of the PC gaming show from E3, where it's like, we want to watch it, but I don't know if we necessarily want to like be wrapped and focused on it the entire time. So.
Right.
Until we are interrupted by news from either of those events, there's a ton of stuff to talk about. Electronic Arts had their event at 1 a.m. Pacific time. I got up and saw all of this stuff before the stream today, and to me, Star Wars Battlefront, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and Unravel clearly led the pack. Kyle,
You just rattled those off real fast.
Why those are the ones I specifically want to focus on?
Yeah.
Not the Sims. We're
Hold
not
on.
covering the Sims right now.
Star Wars Battlefront.
Right?
Mirror's Edge Catalyst. And then Unravel. Those are your three highlights, huh?
FIFA, Need for Speed, Plants vs. Zombies, Old Republic, and Sims were the other ones.
Yeah.
Maybe Need for Speed is a little slightly edge out on Unravel, but like...
So wait, did
What?
they show off anything new? Because they all had all that like when they were announcing the press conference.
They showed lots of new stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, new games as well.
No new games. Not
No.
one new game.
So the and more was just a lie. It was the and more at the end of the
Yeah,
sentence.
they just kind of elaborated on everything.
So here's what they did do. Here's the and more. We'll get to those three games, obviously, but they did a weird thing of the concept art. They said, yeah, we are working on some new games.
Oh yeah, that
Here's
was
some-
that montage was weird.
Here's a tiny montage of concept art.
Some of this
games
might
that we're working
happen,
on.
some of it might not. No big deal.
Isn't
but, you
that
know,
exciting?
Check it
Yeah.
out.
So,
You're on a crazy planet. Look at that thing over there. Anyway, Electronic Arts, everybody.
I haven't seen any of the press conference yet. What concept art did they show?
Oh, it was for
Some of it was
unannounced
from
games.
Plants vs. Zombies. Like you see like PvZ characters in there. Some of it was like clearly Mass Effect stuff. Like
a brooding sci-fi guy on top of a tower
Why? Why are they showing us this?
I don't know.
to prove that they are working on new games.
Don't stop showing us concept.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of one of the things that stuck out yesterday that I thought about was the Bloodstain from Xbox. Where they're just like, hey, they clearly wanted us to show something, so it's like the last thing we drew.
We drew a character.
We have no idea what the guy's called.
Yeah.
But he's a demon hunter.
He's
Yeah.
probably gonna get replaced.
Exclusive announcement. He's a demon hunter for Microsoft. So I think that's it. Seems like Gamescom is so exciting because there's so much stuff happening. You still look at what all the stuff that Xbox showed, and like it's a ton of stuff. Like there was a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that EA showed and talked about, but it is all updates on stuff that we already know. Halo Wars 2 is the only real announcement of a new property to come out of a new sequel or a new entity to come out of the Microsoft press conference. But yeah, I mean Battlefront. Are we
Absolutely.
Are we clear of that? Can we talk about Battlefront?
I need to
Yes.
see it.
Yeah, so at least needs to be updated on these clips. So we're gonna we can hear it in the headphones. So we're gonna
Yeah, so
just
this
watch it in
is
the
a new
background.
mode, right?
This is a new mode that was teased before Gamescom called Fighter Squadron, and yeah, this is basically ships, like the ship combat
Yeah.
that's going to be added to the game. I mean, it was also teased in the trailer. Like we definitely saw plane combat. A lot of people were frustrated that there's no space combat, which is interesting. Like you'd think like kind of a big open space box would be easier to do than a giant volcano planet. Like to me this seems more difficult. There's like all the smoke in the air, and there's like the basically what's up is totally different than what's down. Whereas like in space you could just kind of put a couple cruisers there and just have stars and planets in the distance.
That shot though, I get chills. That first opening shot where TIE fighters are everywhere.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
chill. Yeah, it's Return of the Jedi with Death Star
Yeah,
2.
man.
Like I got chills several times throughout this trailer. My only concern is really what you can't tell from the trailer, which is just how does this feel? Like I see EA Star Wars like retweeting a lot of people being like, it's great, but like we're not there, we don't know. Got to demo some cool Battlefront stuff at E3, but have yet to play this. I'm dying to play this. And Kyle, we talk a lot about Battlefield and Call of Duty and games that have kind of incremental map / like weapon updates. And it's really like a test for their trailers to make a gameplay edit that shows off what's new, kind of simulates a real gameplay battle, make it look like this is what it would be like if you played it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kind of escalated the announcements of what they're showing. And this did such a good job of it.
They're out of planets, though.
I don't want to. Huh?
They're out of planets to reveal.
It's coming up. I mean, yeah, it's definitely coming up on launch. And I guess that is the other concern people have is that like that's what EA is going to do. There's going to be more planets in 2016, but they're all going to be DLC.
Yeah. And then here we see the heroes, the hero class spaceships.
Don't want to spoil this one for Elise there. Just going to wait.
Okay.
I'm going to wait on it.
They're
We're gonna
just
wait on
giving fans everything they want in
Our,
Star
our
Wars
audience
game.
that hasn't seen it. You looked at. You
it's
looked
okay.
away.
I had it over there.
Oh, okay.
It's just a slave one. The
Yeah, it's
slave one
fine. It's
shows
just
up.
it's just Boba Fett dogfighting. The Falcon.
That old chestnut.
Slave One is the only toy ship that I own, and so I have a real like feeling for the Slave One when that shows up because I definitely flew that around in my room a lot. You know, it had a handle in the back, so you could just really like
It's
pilot
just-
it as hard as you
Boba
wanted
Fett's such
to.
a boss, man. Like he's like you know what? I'm gonna roll my spaceship like this because I can. So I'm
Yeah.
Boba Fett. Imagine the Falcon instead of flying like this. Which
Yeah,
That's just how he rolls through the universe. Like I don't care.
my justification was
I'm
always
still
that
gonna
it was
catch you.
space, and it
This
doesn't
isn't
matter.
aerodynamic at all. I'm still
Yeah.
gonna hunt you down.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And we saw Boba Fett, which was presumably a hero shot, at the end of one of the gameplay trailers.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, Elise?
I
Are
think it
you a
looks
Star
rad.
Wars fan? Are you
Yeah,
excited about this?
I mean,
how much multiplayer battling do you do?
none. But I'll probably. I'm for sure gonna play Star Wars. Yeah, I don't like playing with other people. I don't like playing against other people.
I'm there with you. I'm 100% there with you.
Against other
but
people?
Yeah, against other people. I
Because
mean,
you like those Lego games. You like a
Oh
good,
yeah,
a good
yeah.
co-op.
I love a
puzzle
good
game.
co-op experience, but I don't like playing with strangers. I don't like even playing with groups of friends online.
So
But
yeah,
These are Imperials. They need to be struck down.
but I think
Oh,
we all
yeah.
make an exception for this.
I would make an exception for this.
Yeah, to me, it's part of the chatter. Do you know what I mean? There's the chatter
Yeah.
they have in the ships and everything, and the music and everything. It feels more like I'm playing a story. It feels like this is a thing that's happening instead of just like we're a bunch of dumb idiots in a room shooting each
Yeah,
other.
I think I could play this and effectively ignore everyone that
Yeah.
I'm playing with and just do my thing, kind of cooperating with my teammates, but essentially playing by myself.
Yeah, playing Star Wars.
Are you a rebel or an Imperial, Elise? What are you feeling? Are you the Millennium Falcon or are you the Slave One?
As in life, as I am in Star Wars, rebel.
You're a loner.
Yeah.
I'm a known Sith.
So yeah, I mean that was I think that was the most exciting thing I saw come out of the press conference. I really like Mirror's Edge. We'll get to that in a second, but that was my favorite. That got me pumped. I believe did they start the press conference with that? Did they
started with Need for
open that guy?
Speed.
Open with Need for Speed. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's like a perfect thing to save for a press conference. Like, oh, we have that whole mode like that. I imagine like the moment development started on this, they kind of just slotted that right in at Gamescom. Like that works out perfectly. If we're going to be in November, like that's compared to a lot of these other things. Again, like Old Republic's like, oh, we'll show you some more cinemas from our new expansion pack coming out. Versus like, here's this whole new mode. We can tease it beforehand. It'll be playable at the show.
My thing with Star Wars is we've seen enough of this that we know it's going to be rad. We know it's going to be really, really good. I'm most excited to see the new Mirror's Edge demo, and the Unraveled.
Okay,
demo.
we'll queue them up. It sounds though, Matt, that Final Fantasy 15 may have started.
It has started, but it's mostly a handful of gentlemen. My window's too small to tell who it is. I didn't see the name, so chat can correct me on that. But they're just chatting up right now, and I don't see any footage. But the moment I do, trust me, I'll try as hard as I can to get
Classic Square Enix.
This is cool. Going live.
If Elise or Kyle are talking, just cut them off.
Yeah.
Just cut right into it.
So you want to talk about Mirror's Edge then?
Oh, Dawn had some thoughts on the Star Wars.
Don Casanova is in our
Battlefront
control
trailer
room
too.
today.
I'm excited. I'm going crazy. That looks fun. Looks so much fun. I can't wait. As soon as they got near the ground and started flying close to the surface, that's when I got my chills. But I'm extremely excited about it. I mean, I love when they show the third-person view flying the Millennium Falcon especially. I'm going to be in third-person view the whole time. I don't like cockpits.
There is a novelty to it. I like when you go inside the TIE interceptor. I believe that's an interceptor. I don't want to get in trouble.
See, I don't feel in control in a
That guy.
a fight game like this if I'm in third person.
I'm the opposite. For some reason, because I can't just turn my head and, like in a car, I always feel so constrained when I'm in a cockpit, like I can't tell where the edge of my ship is or something.
So your cockpit.
Yeah.
I know Blood is cockpit for life. I'm definitely third person. It's like Grand Theft Auto style. Like I just like.
What Don just said made perfect sense, though. That's
It
really
does.
interesting.
Well, that's the line. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like inverted or not inverted.
I think I just feel like I'm more in the ship this way.
Oh, sure, yeah, it's
Whereas
immersion.
that I feel like it is immersion. Whereas that I feel like I'm puppeteering a ship.
This gameplay goes to a whole other level when you go into the cockpit. When you're hearing those sound effects, like from the
Yeah.
cockpit, it just changes dramatically.
Speaking of first-person immersion,
Nice.
Mirror's Edge.
Best in the biz right there. Look at this. And we get a little transition. We got a crossfade to Mirror's Edge. This is very professional. Yeah.
Kyle is taken aback right now.
I don't know if Twitch is hearing it, but there's no audio in our headphones.
You want audio? I can give you audio.
Oh yeah, that'd be.
You want audio?
Swell.
I'll
I mean,
give you
I guess I
audio
don't need it
at
if it's going to interfere with the stream.
There's some smashing, some kicking.
The voice acting is good, though. That's worth
Yeah.
saying.
And I like the story. I really like this. I think it's a very smart gameplay reveal. I think this wouldn't have been as good if they
Time to
just
make myself
shown this
useful,
entire
huh?
sequence. Like I know
Where
it's a
do I
little
go?
frustrating
You
because
can make
they
your way to the
pull
agricultural
off many
division at
really interesting
Elysium.
time moments. But they're like, oh, we'll just skip past this little part here, and you don't need to see this little bit. We don't want to spoil this bit. But I think it makes it right. But I think it.
Yeah, that's good
Feeling it?
stuff.
I mean, how much better does this game look than the original Mirror's Edge?
So good.
It's not even funny.
Original Mirror's Edge looks great, though.
It does.
Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, how much more is going on? I mean, how much more depth is there to the city? You know, it's. I think it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a tech improvement in the way that like this is what the first Mirror's Edge
What
should
the
have
hell?
looked like. But like to me, the
Just
first
saw a
Mirror's
couple of
Edge was
Keysight guards tasking
an
an
interesting
import.
realization
What are
of the
they
city,
after?
and this is a city.
There's a lot of
You know, like
cruisers
this. Like
chatter on
I'm
the front, or they need to
talking about immersion. Like I'm definitely way more immersed in the city.
Yeah.
What I love is it looks so good. The graphics look in terms of realism and
Elysium is one of the
textures and
taller
whatnot, they look amazing. But there's still like a stylistic choice happening here, which preserves this game.
See it.
Oh, everything's too loud. Can't hear me apparently.
Something doesn't feel right.
You want to, Mr. Bloodworth? Do you want to put in headphones and listen to the stream to make sure the mix is okay? All right.
I'm here.
Got it. Be careful.
Thank you, chat. Keep us updated on audio.
I got
Uh,
this.
But so we see a ton of platforming in this too, which I really like. I like the exploration. I like the parkour. Like, oh, I can climb that weird thing to climb to this weird thing. Creative platforming, basically.
Yeah.
You see an
Puzzle
office
platforming.
building. Yeah.
Fancy.
And you're like, how can I climb an office building? I love that.
Lithograph.
That's
also-
right here. Pop, pop, pop.
Very
Boom.
protective
I'm in an
about the
office.
data.
Sorry, Brandon, for interrupting.
There's really good sound later on when she gets in like a really big room, and the just her footsteps on the floor make a much more like echoey sound effect. This environment of just kind of being in this office clearly after hours, like it definitely felt like a closed building and not like, no, you're supposed to be here. It's like, no, there are normally lots of people here working, and you're here after hours, very quiet, very echoey. I like that it kind of teases at more story elements, but doesn't necessarily spoil anything. I think it's like a smart element of the game. It's not just like, well, this is another adventure. Like this is clearly, you know, a pivotal moment where she starts to, you know, discover how she can get more answers about, you know, what it is she's hunting after. See, it's not just red. Was it red the whole time in the first Mirror's Edge?
No, there were some
Like the
yellows.
identifiers?
There's some yellows and blues. Gosh,
There's
sorry,
someone
that
else
moment
here.
to me is really funny. She's significating that she's wants to like hold on to that
Sorry.
pole, but it looks like she's like reaching out to them like longingly as they walk over. I think this was a really good gameplay demo, and it's cool they saved this for Gamescom.
Labs here. This isn't
At least what do you think so far?
research.
I'm so excited for this.
What are they up to?
Hey, you don't have to
I just
do
love
this.
how this game looks.
I'm finishing this.
Do you think
Noah.
do you think this is a game that really touts like next gen? Do you think this is a game that like has improved upon the first game, or is this a really competitive visual experience on current gen consoles?
Competitive. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Is this going to look better than other shooters, basically? Like, is it trying to, or is it still trying to have its own unique style?
Here's a weird thing. It's got a really great style. Visually, I've been holding back on this because I know it's a weird, dumb complaint, but I just gotta say it. It's weird to me how few things that she reflects in. They made everything very shiny, but when she walks up to a shiny thing, you have no reflection in it. And then occasionally, in this next part, they like emphasize her reflections at particular moments, and that's real weird to me. That's almost jarring. So yeah, I think that it's just going to be a very fun platforming game. I don't want to position. I hope they don't like right here. Yeah, like now I got a reflection.
To me, that's maybe because she's in primarily these like, she's in a downtown area that's all kinds of glass structures. It might be distracting if for the entire time you're seeing reflections everywhere.
Yeah, well, also impossible.
Impossible to
Realism is
develop.
hella distracting, Kyle. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
It can really slow your progress.
Who said that?
Yeah.
But so like basically,
go.
Brandon, I hope they don't position it as something like, hey, this is a bleeding edge game because it
Oh
won't
no, I'm just
succeed in
wondering.
that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. It's not. I'm not suggesting they are doing that. I'm just curious if that's their goal. Because EA can talk about that sometimes. Like they can definitely, like DICE can talk about that.
I'm curious how well this one will do. How well it will sell.
Right. That's what I'm most nervous about. I want it to succeed
Me
so
too.
badly.
Seems like audio's holding. So yeah, there you go. What any other thoughts, opinions, dreams, wishes for Mirror's Edge Catalyst?
I'm in. Surprise me with something.
Time to make myself.
And again, just commenting on what did you think of like the quick cuts? Did you notice there's one moment when she actually like does one of those rolls that they like switch to a totally later part in the gameplay demo. It's like the building that she sees in the distance. They're just kind of like, again, in the interest of time, like, oh, now she's at the building. And it's kind of nice because it doesn't spoil it, Like, there've definitely been a lot of, like, really amazing press conference memories that I have, and then when I play the games, like, I'm taken out of the game a little bit because I'm like, oh yeah, E3 2013, I remember this. It's I remember this Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 city demo, and they really want to show the whole thing, and then they're only going to do an interest of time. Like, at the last minute, it's a simple fade to black, they're just like, just put up a title and then we're done. We don't really have to, like, plan that ahead about how long this is specifically going to be because it has to cater to the length of its allotted time in the press conference. And this just felt very deliberate that they're like, we're not showing you that one specific section because it's not necessary in how we're going to demonstrate this level right now.
This could be a very fun open world game.
Oh yeah, I think one of the best things about the first Mirror's Edge is like just discovering how you can interact with environments and like what your like parameters are and what you can do. I think that's what they're trying to show off here. Like look at everything you can do. Look at how you can get around.
You see yellow orbs off in the distance. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
wait, go get that.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there
yeah.
at some point.
Do you think those are like upgrades? Like if you get enough yellow orbs, you can upgrade this or upgrade that. The yellow orbs are like huge.
You're really into those yellow orbs, aren't you, Kyle?
You know I'm into those yellow
You're
orbs.
gonna dream about those
They're
tonight, aren't you?
mesmerizing.
Well, I mean,
Fancy.
the one comparison I can draw to another game was Dying Light, which I played last year. And one thing that I definitely got better at is if I would see a marker on the map and I would look at the city, it's like I've traveled back and forth in that direction across the city more than one, a dozen times. And so I kind of know, I can kind of recognize like what parts of the environment I should go in or what buildings are more easily accessible, or what buildings I've been on and maybe I'm going to try another path this time. So that excites me. Like once you get to that building and you know how to get across those blocks of the city, that'll help you in later missions. You'll have a thought that like if someone's chasing you, like if they have that, if it's the real open world and like, oh, the cops are after me and helicopters are chasing you, not a part of any mission or anything. It's just I just pissed off the cops and I'm trying to get away. Be kind of fun if you can like recognize those little hiding spots or places where they won't see you.
And like Dying Light, I hope there's like really cool hidden things to go find.
And
like
zombies.
If you're just out exploring.
Zombies would be great.
No,
Zombies would be fantastic.
Don't you do that.
Well, hang on. I want to hear what he has to say.
So yeah, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I'm more excited for Mirror's Edge Catalyst now than Battlefront. You had two in front of you. They're right here. What do you want?
Yeah, this game's. I love Star Wars, but like, this to me just speaks my language. I just love. This is my kind of game. But I am excited for Star Wars.
Yeah, and I'm so stoked they're willing to make a single-player, story-focused game, and that's why I hope it does well. I hope
Me
it does
too.
well.
Don't have to do this.
And we have already seen stuff
finishing
from
this
Catalyst. Like we saw a trailer, we
I'll be fine.
saw like another trailer that had like some gameplay in it. Then we saw another like gameplay documentary thing, and I wouldn't necessarily call this like a blowout. It is very selective on like a very specific mission, but like. And even though it is heavily produced, like the actual video that we're watching, I think it's like very representative of what the game is like.
Yeah.
It just picks all the best moments and knows how to roll them out.
When is this out? Is there a release date?
February of next year.
February 23rd, I think it says at the end.
Daniel Bloodworth with the dates. Daniel Bloodworth, what do you think of Mirror's Edge Catalyst?
Daniel
I'm
Bloodworth.
loving it. Yeah. Again, I didn't stay up to watch, so I'm seeing this like Elise just as we're watching it now. So I gotta see it with the full sound up and everything.
Ooh, Whammy Time brings up another really fun part about this game, is that there's no guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are
Yeah,
happy
that's
about that in
interesting.
chat.
We got rid of that.
Yeah.
I mean, no guns that she's using?
Yeah, you'll never pick up a gun and have to shoot.
We know this? They've said that?
Yep.
Oh. I mean, just kick people in the face.
Yeah.
Don, more excited for Star Wars or Mirror's Edge?
I gotta say I'm a little more excited for Star Wars,
Oh,
but
really?
Mirror's Edge, I like that world of story. It reminds me of, my old corporate job when you used to hang out in the skyscraper after work, just monkeying around.
No, hold on. Is that a true story?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, come on. Come on.
I worked at a mall once, though, and I was friends with the security guard. He used to let us stay in there after all the shops had closed their gates. We'd play laser tag. That was kind of similar
Oh,
to
man.
what,
Did you ever
Mirror's
have to
Edge.
protect them all?
No, I never backed him up. He never called on me for that.
No, hold on, though. You just played laser tag in an empty mall at night?
It was incredible, Kyle. If you could imagine, this mall had a lot of like, center court with fountain and all kinds of
Yeah.
like built-up planter type things. There's all kinds of really cool places to hide. It
A
was
lot
like
of waist-high
It
walls.
was like exactly a lot of places to like crawl on your belly around, maneuver. We'd get on little teams. There'd be like 8 of us all together. We'd just meet over at my work at like 10 after they'd be closing
so
up.
jealous.
So, Kyle, now what are
It
you
was
more
fun.
excited about? Mirror's Edge Catalyst or playing laser tag in a
Mall
mall?
laser tag with Don. Yeah.
The ultimate was when he let us up on the roof one time, Kyle. And if you can think of how the food courts in the malls have those big bubble windows usually on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So like when you're actually up there, it makes kind of like a maze of those bubble windows because they're taller than you, and creeping through there like, with your gun is really intense. It reminded me of that
Hashtag bubble
trailer.
windows.
Yeah. Dang, Don, that's a good story. As far as stories go, that's top tier.
I mean, how is laser tag? Like, you'd think laser tag would be just crazy now, but like it never.
It's
is
the
it like
same.
it's
Is
not
that like
advancing as fast
No.
as it
Is
should.
it like 3D? Where it's like 3D like was a thing in like the 80s, and then it went away, and then now it's like no. Now they actually figured it out. Kind of like VR. It's like VR was a thing for a little while, and then it went away, and then now it's coming back. It's like I wonder if laser tag's
Every
like
like
that's gonna be the next
5
thing.
every
I haven't gotten
5
there yet.
years or so, laser tag.
Laser tag and VR combined.
I want to see laser tag and HoloLens combined.
The last time
no.
I went to play laser tag, I just got crushed by little kids.
Yeah, kids are good at laser
They're
tag.
so good at
Kids are
it, and
very
they're
good.
the perfect height.
Check to see if
They're
our
good
numbers
at
went up or
sneaking.
down with the conversation on laser tag.
You know what my least favorite thing is people who like cover
Oh, yeah.
cover their spots where you
Oh
can
no,
hit
that's
them.
not even.
Douche
They think
bags.
they're so cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
oh,
like it's like screen peeking.
It's
You
not
can't
cool,
buy it.
not cool.
we should talk about Unravel.
Okay, but I want to get back to this laser tag mall conversation. Unravel. Damn, is this game cute? And is the guy is great. He came out on stage and did another great presentation where he's just like, "Thank you. This is in Sweden. We're on a beach. We like to go to the beach and hang out in nature." And
Honestly, look at that background. We
Yeah.
are in Sweden. That's what's cool about this 2D platformer is like how well it represents a world.
I think that's like my favorite thing about it. Is that it's just a beautiful game. It's like it'd be one thing if this game only had its charm. It was just kind of like, the platforming's okay, and like the character's fun, but like the world is just like a little sparse. Like instead of like looking at that environment, instead of this water just being like so lush and realistic, like it's a little cartoony, it's a little cel-shaded, little Borderlands. But just for them to really stress that realism, really be like this doesn't work. You won't feel how small he is unless you really feel like you're just kind of running him along.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people on social media being like, I met him. I met Yarny. taking pictures with Yarny.
Oh.
And the game is tricky. I mean, I think it's a really interesting puzzle to solve because like this would take me half an hour. This would take me so long. And that whole thing, I solved the puzzle at E3.
This very same one?
Not this very same one, but it had, like, I got stuck at the same spot that basically had that principle where it's like, oh, if I connect these two strings diagonally, I'll make this ramp going up, and then I can move this big heavy thing. Because you're this little tiny yarn dude, and they give you this giant object, and you're like, what? Do I drag it? Can I pull it? Like, I don't even know how to get this up there.
Can
and
Yarny
it's real
die?
simple if you just use your yarn. What's up?
Can Yarny die? Like if he got caught in that current?
Yeah, he definitely just like avoids it. The only thing that killed, I didn't do any water environments in E3. The only thing that killed Yarny was like a clearly toxic, like green bubbling goo
okay.
that like, yeah, don't fall in that.
You can also run out of string, yarn.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
You build your little tightrope.
That's a little more specific. Like that's a little more specific to the area that you're in. Like when you see him get to a part where he like ravels himself back up, like that resets you at the same spot every time as far as like yarn distance is concerned. So it's when you're like being careful of how much yarn you use, it's really like focused on the specific area that you're in. It's not like you're gonna get like way into a level and be like, I gotta go back 20 minutes to get more yarn.
That's actually very reassuring. Thanks, Brandon, for explaining that part.
So yeah, whenever you see him do that little animation, we're like, woo, I got more yarn. Like he goes back to 100%. Like it's basically just preparing him for the next section. But there were definitely moments in the thing before E3 where I was just like right at the, because what he does here, you could undo this. Like you saw he got over that little stone thing by himself, but then he does this zigzag to get this thing over.
Yeah.
Once he gets this thing over, he could go back and untie all of those things and then climb back up over.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if the end of the game when it gets really tough is gonna like challenge you to do that by like, it's not just setting these things up, it's destructing them in a specific order so that you have the yarn to get to where you need to do the next thing. So it does, and it's an interesting like puzzle gameplay mechanic to have him like run out, to have him like all of a sudden get really skinny, and he's like, like his animation is so great, he looks back at himself like, oh no, I ran out of yarn.
And there's no like coins, you know what I mean?
It's got a little yarn fish. I mean, this game just doesn't quit, it's like, just okay, I get it.
No, hold on, he's gonna pet the fish.
Oh.
There we go. Yeah.
And he says what does he say at the end? He says a really interesting quote. He's like, we want to touch you in your heart deeply.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, like, he's,
that's why
mission accomplished.
I fear that this game may have an emotional punch at the end. Something Yarny unravels, or...
I made a 25 accent. I made it 25 accent. 25 minutes into the stream before doing a horrible accent of somebody in a country I don't live in.
That was not a horrible accent.
I know, but it's not. It's okay to do it every now and then, but I don't want to just bombard the show.
You don't want to be
with just
offensive.
Terrible accents.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't want to be fun.
Because when
Kidding.
Accents are fun, man.
Because when you get sleep deprived, you look back and you're like, I've been speaking in German for the last 30 minutes and I don't speak German, so nobody can probably understand me. But yeah, so we're on the loop now. What do you think of this selection of the game?
So into it.
This is definitely like the happy part of the game. Like, do you think this game? Because I went through kind of a muddy, dark, creepy forest where there were birds hopping around trying to grab me.
Oh, really?
So like, I wonder if the game just gets progressively sadder as you keep going, and then has some big journey explosion of happiness at the end.
My impression of this level is that it's after one of those parts. I think we've come out of the woods, and this is like a reset. We're at a happy place again. It'll be a roller coaster.
Is the end of this game going to be you just completely, going to that last ball of just nothing?
That's
and then
what
somebody finds him and
like
makes a new Yarny or something.
Yeah. We're just gonna be like just stretched.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Just rips
is
his
that
arm
this,
off like, I don't care, I need more yarn.
I'm concerned the end will deliver some kind of emotional punch to us as to what Yarny's fate will be.
That's why he wants to touch you in the heart. That's what he means. He wants to punch you in the heart.
Nah, he's gonna make it back to his family. I know it.
I've
I
got
I don't
a
think he has a
spoiler
family,
about the
Kyle. I
ending.
bet.
They're his family to him, though, I think.
No, don't start it. There's a big yarn griffin that comes in, and it's a whole,
Like,
it's a whole emotional experience.
I think the thing is, like, even though they may not know he exists, to Yarny, like, his human family is his family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will this game come to the Wii U? And if so, will we get a Yarny amiibo?
This will not come to Wii U.
I don't think they'd make enough money on a Yarny amiibo, sadly. I love the environments too. Like, to us, like the massive scale of this to Yarny, but it's just a little measuring post.
Oh, and everything's real. There's no there's no like floating blocks.
How are we doing on Square Enix?
They're just talking.
They're just talking. All right.
I
Yeah.
want to know, is the final boss going to be like an old lady with like a set of knitting needles?
She tries to undarn you.
I got a spoiler about the ending. It's a sad and ironic ending involving a cat. That's all I'll say.
Oh, Don. I bet you love that, you sicko, you cat lover.
Or it could just be some annoying kid that like throws him up over the telephone wires, and he's just hanging there.
Yarny can overcome anything. I don't think you all understand what Yarny's about.
What if Yarny sacrifices himself to like save a button on the sweater of the like little girl in the family he loves?
Okay.
Patch a
It's not gonna be
sweater.
like that.
He
Yarny's gonna be
patches an
fine.
elbow at the end.
You're all too worried about Yarny. I do have a question about the controls, Brandon.
I want to start some Yarny fanfic. Okay, sorry, I got it.
Whoa, we're gonna have to get back to that.
The further adventures of Yarny.
When he uses it as a grappling hook, like what button do you press? Like, is that like just an easy kind of thing to like grapple onto something?
Yeah, I think it's either square or maybe one of the shoulder buttons. I don't remember specifically, but
And then what is release? What is untie from a thing?
or just another face button.
Okay.
Like maybe circle or something like that. And whatever the same button is when you get to a checkpoint. Whenever you see him now, like sometimes he'll automatically tie to something. Like sometimes when you go up to get that, when you get that stuff, he'll like make a big bow to signify like checkpoint. I'm done. You know.
Got it.
Like you can go back if you want to try to find extra stuff, but like you're done with that area. You figured it out. You know, time to move on. How long do we think this game is? I mean, does this game need to be super long? This
No.
game's 2 hours. Is that fine?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it'll be more than 2 hours.
Because like on one end, it gives me a Journey vibe, and Journey's 2 hours, and on the other end, I get kind of like a Ori and the Blind Forest exploration vibe. So maybe it could be a lot longer than that. Like maybe you'd want to go back and play it again to go through areas. Like I wonder if when you go back and play it a second time, if it's just one big long slog, or if you're able to select the different checkpoints.
So
go back to specific parts.
I'm thinking realistically again. I think that it's so detailed it won't be a long game. Like the environments are so intricately detailed that I think this might be a 3-hour game, and I think that's about right for what this game is. You know what I mean? You don't want to stretch it thin. You don't want to just be repeating the same mechanics over and over. Because you're right, it's more about figuring things out than your execution.
Yeah, I think the length will be determined by how much time it takes you to solve these puzzles, really.
Yeah, and I mean that's what's crazy is that's what EA is making this game. EA is publishing this game and putting it in their Gamescom press conference as a hey, this is a game we're proud of. I think that's very cool.
And there's not what's really nice about it is that there's not like a clear sell other than cuteness and excellence. You know, so like
there's a way bigger sell than cuteness.
From a stuffy suit and tie EA marketing
At their
perspective.
boardroom.
The guy came in. You imagine how many people come into that room to
Yeah.
try to get to the point where this guy's at, that No Man's Sky Sony stage, where like here's this little tiny thing, we're making a big thing about it, and there was just a room full of people that were like, oh, you know, and like that's cool that that they fell in love with this game, hopefully, and then that's how this game get made. Not that like, oh yeah, Minions for the iPad, sure, you know, like that'll clearly, or Sims, you know, it's like. Not to bring up Sims, but Sims, like everything Sims at that conference just made me ill.
Oh man, that was so funny.
What
So
did they
I'm-
show for Sims?
Oh, it's hard to explain.
They had, I know you don't have the actual like press conference up, you just have like individual clips, but like they did like a dance party, which is, I mean, you know, EA and Ubisoft, they like their dance parties,
No,
it's fine.
I swore we were past that for press conferences.
Ubi's never past that. There will always be, because it's Just Dance, so like Ubi's got to Just Dance every time. But they did I think it's like Getting Together is the new expansion. Sims 4 Get Together. So it's like parties and more expanded relationship stuff.
So did they justify their position on our list from a few weeks ago?
Oh, definitely. No, please go back and watch that one for series that need to die.
You know what I love to do actually was I was reading the YouTube comments from Sims fans and how they were reacting to the new expansion, and they are miffed.
Why?
Sims fans are not happy.
Well, specifically, guys, I have my own stupid, never played Sims 4 outside perspective, but like what?
So it's really fun to see like the language they use. Like doing it in The Sims is called woohoo.
Yes.
And so one of the features of Get Together is you can woohoo in the closet. And they're like, woohoo in the closet? Is that the best you got? They're like so mad about it. They're just repeating old expansions. So they have the names of other expansions that have come before. And they're just like, this is just those two expansions, but not even as much as what was in those two expansions. And so like the fans are too smart for this EA nonsense. I think they'll probably still buy it because they care about it so much. But yeah, it is interesting to see like that particular subculture of Sims fans.
They should have introduced heists to The Sims.
Yeah.
Worked for GTA.
Yes.
It would have just taken forever to develop, though.
That's an
Exactly.
idea, and that is something you would love to see your Sims do, is like plan a heist, and execute it.
Well, it's one thing I was talking about the Sims earlier. Thank you for still showing Unravel. We don't need to see the Sims right now. One thing I was talking to Kyle with earlier about the Sims is like, this is just not where I thought the Sims would be. Like I thought we'd be having a conversation where we're like, oh yeah, she's like, I want to have a party, woo!
Oh, here we go. He found it.
She's like,
They're taking
Oh
selfies.
no.
Oh my gosh.
I want you all to suffer like we did.
I mean, think.
This
think
was
of,
live.
Think
tweet
of their,
your own. Elise, you're not tweeting your rule
my,
moment right now.
My Jason, do you rule moment? That's Yubi's.
You
That
It's
was
rule.
nice.
Yubi's.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we got to think about their audience too, though, like who they're catering to with this.
So there is an
presentation.
audience for this?
Yeah, I
That's
guess.
watching
I
and
guess like
dancing along and tweeting out.
probably a lot of
Rule?
preteens.
You're reading them?
I-
According to Kyle?
Yeah.
I think. I think a lot of preteens that maybe aren't
Cool yet.
cool yet. playing this game.
The preteens who are dreaming of going to a club, it's so sad. The way that, oh man, it bums me out so much.
No, preteen
Just like I
think this is
can't wait to be a
lame.
part of
I
club
just
life.
don't think preteens are up at 1 a.m. in the United States watching the press conference.
Oh yeah, but they're in Europe for sure.
They are
European
right.
preteens.
Right.
A solid chunk of the people who play this game are too old to give a crap about this.
Right.
That's the thing.
Well, who are they doing this
let's throw
for?
numbers out there. 75% of people who play The Sims 4 are not inspired by this image.
Who is this for?
I don't know.
Who thought this was a good idea?
Hashtag that.
Oh yeah,
Who is this for, EA?
the selfie so funny. Like the person in charge of The Sims dancing with a bunch of
But I
18-year-olds
I
who
think
are clapping and
I
dancing.
think the preteen kids that like Ariana Grande and they're doing whatever, they can't go to
Those
clubs.
kids.
They're watching this and they're like, yeah, The
I'm
Sims.
just,
Mm-hmm.
my mind is just very curious about this production, and it's like, okay, did they find these people in Germany and hire them locally, or did they actually fly a bunch of dancers that they?
Oh yeah, good
signed
call.
up
Well, no,
with?
but that's what I'm thinking about. When all these, I literally just see dollar signs and all these kids like that's
Those are expensive models.
$200, $200. Like
A guy who can dance with glasses, those aren't cheap.
Straight from the discotheque.
Yeah, they're definitely models.
Oh, see the
though,
guy with
man.
the shoulder that took her off. He's like, come on, man, let's go. There's people dancing on the floor. We don't want you to get hurt. But I thought Sims by 2015 would be the kind of franchise where like, did you hear what The Sims is doing? That's really interesting. Like, the franchise went away
yeah.
for a little bit, but now it's back. We finally got Sims 4, and it's really fun. They're doing like a crazy thing this year, not like.
Ooh, show this player. This video is really good too.
And they got this really creepy live action thing.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
tell me
can
more.
You rewind a little bit. The live action thing is insane.
Let's get a little bit of that in there. There.
So like a weird commercial just for The Sims 4. Like,
Like, she's like, watch this. Screw this guy. Haha, screw you. You punk. Haha, they're stupid.
I like that
And
appeal.
then, of course, everyone
Start a
has
food fight? Heck yeah.
Woohoo.
They're doing a little woohoo in the pool.
See, it's just, it's one thing to take a franchise. Look out, folks.
Sorry.
Is it coming? You can hit. Is it?
We got to sneeze?
I think
Wait.
I'm starting to understand
Wait now.
the concept of this, but it's really weird.
Tease.
All right.
No, this is good
Sneeze
stuff.
tease.
A lot of forced perspective.
Yeah, knocking sand on people knocks their swimming suits off. Apparently.
Wait, where's the one with like the skinny guy who's like, I wish I had muscles? Isn't that?
Oh, it's at the very end.
Oh, okay.
No,
All
he
right.
doesn't say, "I wish I had muscles." He gets muscles, and then it's like, "Yeah."
That guy just
Let's
wanted
make
to be
out.
orange.
Yeah, so I'm cool with like popping bubbles at the gym. That makes sense to me.
That
but
killed 20 people. It knocked them out of the apartment onto the street
squished.
below.
Here he is. I want muscles. Now I have them.
Yo, what's up? It's like not funny.
Oh, it's not. It's like
It's
a weird
kind of like,
emotional appeal.
but it's not like, oh, that tried to be funny and failed. It's like it's really trying to be poignant, and it's
Yeah.
like it's okay if you're gonna strip The Sims of everything that like people would have thought it would have been by this point, or the hopes and dreams of Will Wright and what like this what this franchise could have achieved. If you just want to break it down and make it Minions and be like, all this is worth is just expansion packs and mobile games and Facebook, and that's all that we're gonna do. That's fine. Just don't make trailers like that. Just
Okay.
make a real quick announcement come out. Hey everybody, just giving you an announcement of what's happening with The Sims. We're doing this stupid expansion pack. No party, no musical number. We're out.
I think the Sims is like escapism for people. It is people that are unhappy with their own lives playing a game.
which is everyone. That's a big market.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that for a lot of maybe younger people that don't have the exciting lives they wish they were leading, that trailer maybe appeals to them.
All right.
I
hear it.
I just don't see any of this stuff moving the needle. I see whatever money Sims 4 was going to make, it's just going to make that money.
Yeah,
people are going to find it. And
hey, I like that cool cow plant.
I'm not saying don't do advertising. It's just the way they did it. Okay, that's enough time in Sims 4.
It is.
Yeah.
The Old Republic, Knights of the Fallen Empire,
Yeah, man.
the trailer. It's coming. The game's coming. Here's the thing. As a Star Wars fan, because we're talking about how much we love Star Wars, and I feel bad because I love Star Wars. I love MMOs. So you'd think. I played Galaxies and I loved that. I played Old Republic and I loved it for the short time that I played it. But one thing that they were talking about that made sense when they announced Fallen Empire at E3 was they were like, we're BioWare. We really got away from the storytelling, so we're really going to get back into it. We have the story about this guy who's been imprisoned or something, and he's either your bad guy or joins your team. Then there's two brothers that are battling. One's good, one's bad, or something. They're like yin yang, and there's all this extra stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. Like because I don't know who any of these people are, and it's such an investment to just get to this story. Like I don't know, even if there's if there's not a lot of cutscenes, it's a lose, and if there's a ton of cutscenes, I also don't want to watch. It's like I'm just trying to figure out like what's the meat and potatoes of like, oh, I have to play this. I have to figure out what's going on here. Mm-hmm. Just kind of seems like it's a bonus. There's a story, so I wonder if like having that big story hook. For the old, I mean, they've even kind of lost ties to Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 now, even though they're really trying not to by calling it Knights of the Fallen Empire, the Old Republic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, it's terrible for me to criticize it because at the same time, like, I can't say what they should do because like I'm not.
I think we can.
I have not spent enough time with the game to kind of pick and choose like what direction it would go in, but
I think you can say what they should do because you remember how good those CG trailers are. The original CG trailers.
So you think this needs a CG trailer?
Well, no. I mean, what was good about those is they presented a story you cared to hop into. Mm-hmm. You saw the Sith invading the Jedi Temple, and you're like, "Oh my God!" And then some.
But that was also before the game launched. Both of those trailers were before the game launched.
Yeah.
And so there was still that wonder of like, "Ooh, Galaxies, but better." Like what if they really smoothed everything out and really focused on everybody could be Jedis right away, and it's BioWare. There's all the connections to the. There were so many reasons to have hope and hype, and now like we've been playing this game for a year, 2 years.
But I mean, there's definitely not. I don't think there's even an attempt at an "oh my God" kind of moment in this trailer, or in this expansion.
We're being updated by chat that Square is still talking.
Yep. Thank you for the update, Chad.
Thank you.
Good work.
So yeah, I mean, it is one of the 8 things that they talked about. So it is definitely something that they want people to be pumped on. It's something that they brought to E3, and then subsequently it's something that they brought to Gamescom. I wonder how big the European audience is compared to the American audience for Old Republic.
Yeah, man.
Nothing else to say on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to save your game.
But I mean, what you've done looks great. Like it is a good looking MMO. There's not a lot of really story based sci-fi MMOs. I think it's like the only sci-fi MMO that is really puts a lot of emphasis on story. Everything up PlanetSide, Eve, like all of these are just really resource focused, combat focused. There's story and factions and stuff, but they kind of let their user base write the story for themselves, as opposed to being like the goal, the reward is the ending cinema of the story. And seeing the gratification of that guy, that important guy, like you've come all the way to my realm of the galaxy, and then he's gonna cut away, and it's like that's me, that's my guy,
Sure.
Or you and your guild, or you and your party, like picking dialogue options and telling evil people what for.
I wonder if the anticipation for Battlefront will get some people interested in this in October.
Yeah, isn't that funny? I feel like there's such like a slim crossover.
Yeah, that's
there's just like 2 different kinds of Star Wars fans.
I mean, at least we got to give them credit for not like leaning on that a ton. Where it's just like it's a time travel to episode 7. This portal opens up, and
You're right. At least they had that respect for their fans. You're right. It could have been way worse. Yeah.
It was like 14 did that. Where I remember I was like running through a zone in 14, and I think I like saw a trailer about this, but I didn't really like pay attention to it. And I hear like Lightning Returns music. I'm like, what? And look over and like there's Lightning just fighting this big monster. I'm like, oh right, Lightning's here. And she even comments, like she doesn't have the line of dialogue that's like, where the hell am I? What am I doing here? I'm like, I don't know. See you later. And then she just like vanishes into a portal.
And you just kept going.
She's tanking the fight basically. So you just run in, and as long as you keep people off her and do damage to the boss, you get like a little bit of credit based on your involvement basically in the fight. So it's the kind of thing that like everyone in the zone's just like, yeah, why not? Just
Hang out with Lightning
But-
for a little while.
But
Official GT mascot.
But it is
Lightning.
pretty funny. So Old Republic's tough. I usually have like a game plan. I'm like, they're doing this, but they should do this. And I'm like, they're doing this, and I don't know. I hope that works out well for them.
Yeah.
I don't have any ideas. I should play the game more.
We wish you the best.
Need for Speed, Mr. Bloodworth's pumped about, and he's been silent for a little bit. Need for Speed.
Well, I haven't seen it yet. But yeah.
I asked you what looked better than Forza Motorsport 6 yesterday, and Bloodworth said potentially Need for Speed.
So
how good are these live action cutscenes look?
Yeah, the big Gamescom reveal is that they showed you the legends, the racing legends, street racing legends.
Who are real
They're real people.
people?
Yeah.
Okay, so when people in this story are talking about real people,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, what's his name?
He's coming to town. That's a real guy who, like, a lot of people have real legitimate respect for.
Not only a real guy, but a real person focused on the 5 tenets, I think, or the 5 like. They broke it down to 5 things like style,
Oh, right.
Breaking the law, being the best or something. I can't remember like what the 5 like
Right, the
5 pillars.
Yeah.
But so they each represent those, which is interesting because one's like outlaw, one's like break the law, and then they like have video of a guy who's like, yeah, I'm an outlaw.
Love to break
it's
the
like,
law.
what? Okay, have you done that recently? Like since the last time you were in prison, maybe?
There
Have
they
you-
are. There's our 5 guys. Oh, they're gone.
Right.
I want to see
Yeah.
the.
There is actually another video where
I've got
they.
the 5 here if you want them.
Yeah, give us the 5.
Speed, style, build, crew, and outlaw.
I'm gonna be going for crew. I want the best in the business backing me up out there.
Okay.
What about you?
Definitely style. I'm very much a style man myself. I like to ride with style. Brandon Jones, how about you?
Outlaw? Because I'm an outlaw? It's certainly not build. And it's certainly not style.
But here's the thing: you're getting rated in all 5 of these categories at the
Right.
same time.
Right.
I don't think you can
And
avoid
if you're
that.
doing all 5 at the same
Nah,
time.
man.
in Perfect Need for Speed.
No, I don't need any of that other stuff. Just my boys, my squad.
'Cause that's the thing. I was that was what was weird to me about that demo at E3 because I was losing. I was ahead in the race. I won the race, but I lost because I wasn't driving near the people that crashed. Because I wasn't getting my crew points.
Oh,
That's what I'm
really
saying.
funny.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can't just be all about yourself, Blood. You gotta care about your crew. Is that a real
But
thing?
be beating them at the same time.
Yeah. That's really funny that it actually rates your crew score.
So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I only played like one round.
I can't
so.
beat them. I would never betray my crew.
At least, are you sold on the first-person cutscenes though? This is like they're really focusing a lot on it.
It's
Be
cool
great if it
when
was
you're in
fun.
the garage
It'd be
and
great.
and it shifts over.
Do you mean the live action cutscenes?
Yes.
To me, it just takes you out of the game.
But I mean, just make it funny. Make it like Plants vs. Zombies was another thing they showed, and like that's just super goofy and it's fun. It's fun that way, and like just make just make it either. Okay, see, here's my recommendation. See, here's the difference between me and the Old Republic argument. There's 2 things you can do. Need for Speed. You can get these 5 people and dig in. Have me just talk to them.
Yeah.
Have no other characters.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, even if like they're not good actors and you can't get like good shots out of them with your film camera and like having these scenes and stuff like that, make little documentaries. Like actually kind of get into their lives and like introduce me to these people. He's actually had a trailer where they introduced them and like the music was so loud and like their dialogue like cuts were so short. Like
Yeah.
they barely said 3 sentences a piece, and so I just don't really know them. And it seems weird to kind of mention like at Gamescom, like, oh yeah, well then we got these 5 guys. It's like, well, actually that's really interesting, especially the outlaw dude. Like I want a whole movie on this guy.
Yeah, who
I want
is
to know
he?
who he was.
Yeah, show us.
And of course, like you're encouraging me like to look it up, or make it super camp, or just don't do
Yeah.
the 5 guys. Don't
Well-
tie it to reality and have it me just be
Here-
cracking up at all of these weirdos.
My thing with that though is, to me, this is better, but it still has too much of a Loco Cycle vibe. And Loco Cycle, I feel like, tried to be more camp, but it failed at it.
Yes, it did. You can
And
go
it's
too far
so-
camp. You
and-
can definitely
and
go
it's-
too far on that side.
And it's a funny idea to be like, man, racing's the best. Racing is life. Racing is all you ever want to do. Now stop and watch this cutscene for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
You're just like, I just want to race. I want to get back into it because it's really important for them to create this world. And this is a reboot, so it's something they look back and they wiped the slate clean and they looked at everything that they could add to this game. And live action cutscenes was like, gotta have those. Got it. You can't. Yeah, of course. Live action cutscenes.
Actually,
Yeah, man.
I think if
which
if-
is come and gone in Need for Speed, right, Blood? It has always been there. It's been in some Need for. I know, like Most Wanted.
It's been there on and off.
Yeah. Sorry,
Funny
let's-
thing is, it was definitely probably the most prominent in Undercover, which is basically agreed upon by everyone to be one of the worst Need for Speed games.
It's a good omen.
If they dropped some serious cash and they got actual actors that we know, really, really charismatic actors that we like, there were five hear me out. It sounds bad, but say if it was Chris Hemsworth up there that was playing a character.
And Ludacris.
And Ludacris, I'd totally want to.
And Ludacris?
I would totally be like, yeah, I want.
Undercover. They went with people,
Yeah.
people that people knew.
I think that would appeal to us more than just random cheesy actors. Like if it was Elizabeth Banks up there, and I'd be like, yeah, like hell yes, Elizabeth.
I have the
Banks.
I want to
Yeah.
earn that next Elizabeth Banks
Yeah.
cutscene.
I've got your cast, Elise.
Tom
All
Gunn.
right, here's the
Don
Don
coming
cast.
back in at the
Why
pivotal
don't they
moment.
Casting
put
director.
in, I don't know, throw together a bunch of top-notch actors like maybe Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, maybe put The Rock in there.
That's Fast and Furious.
Don't stop, Don. Who else
Keep
can we have?
going.
I don't want
Tyrese, maybe?
I don't want to offend anybody, so I can't.
I'll say it.
A CG Paul Walker
Yes,
would make Need for Speed
digital
better.
Paul
The ghost
Walker.
of Paul Walker.
There you go.
I think this is an outstanding cast, Don. I don't know where you came up with that ensemble,
you.
but kudos.
Just popped in my
I
head.
think you got something there.
Don, I have a
You
question.
got lighting in a bottle.
Is there any room for Jason Statham in this cast?
We can squeeze him in the next
Antonio
one. How about
Banderas,
that?
perhaps?
We'll squeeze him in the next one.
Okay.
Need for Speed Legends. Maybe you got Arnold Schwarzenegger. You
Oh,
got
no.
Who's known for his racing?
Sylvester Stallone.
Van Damme,
Schwarzenegger
you gotta
bums
get
me out
Van Damme
so
in
much
there.
these days. Oh, I get so depressed when I see him.
You could do some Tom Cruise Days of Thunder action. What's? Sorry, what?
about
Schwarzenegger
tangents?
looks great for
Are
his
they
age.
still talking Square Enix?
Still talking.
Okay. Elise, you write the comedy
Hold on, we got
occasion.
Tangent Police now?
What?
We got Tangent Police? If we go too far at a tangent, we got a Tangent Police officer?
They're gonna
Alright.
throw the book at me.
Okay, the worst line in this trailer is when she's like, "I hear you build cars. It's cool." That's the worst line,
Does that
right?
happen in the
absolutely.
trailer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And you just have like an actor.
I think it's
looking into
it's the
your-
redhead with her hair flipped over.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to wait for it. Yeah, it's.
Hey,
just
good
like-
job, bro. It's like a Guitar Hero Live. It's that same dumb appeal of just like raising your self-esteem.
And then I feel so bad when they cut to that actual genuine human being who like does a little fist bump, and
Yeah.
like that one fist bump feels realer than anything else any of these people do. Because you
Absolutely.
actually got a real person that was like, okay, cool, I'll show up and
And here's the thing:
do a
is
day of shooting on a green screen set.
Need for Speed looks good. You should not have to focus on this stuff.
It's a weird mix.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, we've made fun of Need for Speed enough. There's a cool game here, right? Like we've said, it's really good. It's interesting to focus on all these different on those 5 tenets. So you can cater to your play style. If you jump in, you're like, I want to do these type of things, and I don't have to check like it's be one thing if you had like a list of races, and then all of those had different categories, and I had to like go down the list. Oh, gameplay.
We got Marlboro.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, everybody, headphones on.
This is okay.
Need audio.
I'm trying.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Is it on?
We now return you to Gamescom.
Oh, he's gonna summon someone because he died. Oh no, he just died. Okay. Wow. That's so funny. They died live.
Keeping it real.
Oh my god.
Yeah, everyone was laughing
Well,
when we got
you know
game
what? That
over.
was good. That was good.
Is that a tweet or something?
Yeah. The story is fine and all, but show me some damn gameplay.
I like that it's really big behind them
You see
too.
this in some animals in nature, they mimic something. in
Well,
the
there we go. I
environment
guess
to
we'll
hide themselves, camouflage.
check back in later for more snippets.
No,
More
no.
breadcrumbs, please.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh.
It's like, oh my god, they got race cars? Oh, there's like a guy with a hat in Final Fantasy 50. Oh wait.
Oh,
we're back
first
there.
person live action. This is so cool.
We may go back and forth a little bit, but they seem to be just talking.
I thought that was Sid for a second.
But so Need for Speed the game.
The guy kind of looks like Sid.
Even with its five pillars, it's like still it's a good game, and I'm excited for what they're doing with the actual video game itself. It bums me out
Yeah.
that they're so committed to these cutscenes in their trailers
Yeah.
and promotions.
There it is. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
Make
man.
cars.
Here's a car. You click on it.
Wait. So who are the 5 principal characters?
They only literally show one. Is the fist bump guy? Is one of those guys?
I think actually there's 2 guys. This guy right here.
This guy.
He's a real guy too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That guy.
That guy. That guy
That guy's
looks
definitely not
badass.
a real guy.
Yeah. Guy with a hat. Actor.
They were feeling the guy with the hat.
Pretty sure the guy with
Really,
the
really
hat is the build guy. Because that's the only saw at E3.
Oh, really?
No. That's an actor.
Bill guy's the big beard guy, right?
this guy with the hat is a different guy.
Oh yeah,
hat.
with the hair. Yeah, the
So they couldn't put
Duck Dynasty over there.
one female character in there of the 5.
Well,
Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
The thing is, those 5 people are like actually legitimately, if you're into the racing scene, the street racing scene, you know and respect all of them.
I can do a gender equality transition if we
Okay.
want to if we want to roll that dice.
Sure. Roll those dice. Let's see what comes out.
FIFA 16.
Snake eyes.
Now I feel like I need to quit Game Trailers and get really big on the underground
Yeah,
street
yeah,
racing
yeah.
scene to prove Need for Speed wrong.
Hey, Elise, if it makes you feel any better, I'm sure they've
Yeah,
got
so, yeah.
a top-notch flag girl in there.
Yeah.
Sorry about mandatory update, guys. She's gone. We don't know. We don't know where she is. There's just like blurry foot pictures every now and then.
Try to catch me. Sorry though, we're transitioning to FIFA.
So yeah, the female soccer teams are in FIFA for the first time ever. Are really in like soccer games for the first time ever. I don't know, specifically what kind of precedent has been set for that. But I don't know if gender equality needs to if our expectations of gender equality necessarily translate into the editing bay when it comes to parsing through footage that is being provided to you from Electronic Arts to make the gameplay trailer for FIFA 16. But FIFA, this is Gamescom. We are in Europe. We are near lots of huge teams that are going to be driving the popularity of this game. And I think there are 4 shots of women in this trailer.
Because I guess I don't know that women's soccer is as popular in Europe as it is in North America, right?
Right. So
maybe that they're.
I didn't listen to the entirety, of the announcements that he made when he was on stage talking about FIFA. So I don't know if it came up in the conversation that he mentioned that as a feature, a bonus of this year's edition of FIFA.
No, I mean,
They focused on the Ultimate Team stuff, which EA is doing quite a bit, and unfortunately, it's a really popular mode. But
Oh sure.
but they, it's an eeasy way for them to make money, and so of course they're going to focus on it. But
Yeah,
a lot
it's
of people
Sims.
do actually play it.
yeah, the feature.
And I get that, man. Collecting those guys and that whole that's actually one thing that I'm like, wow, I would fall way into that deep end if I was into.
Oh yeah, because they have a draft.
Sports.
Just like I played with the with Madden this year, they have a
Right.
they have a draft in that mode too. And there's actually, did you see the other trailer with the 2 like retired football players and they're like joking around while they draft players? And,
Yeah, I've seen. I
really like
I've
that
seen
trailer. I think it was like genuinely funny, and the appeal of like showing people giving each other a hard time while they're drafting a team is actually really fun.
And I think stuff like that actually is a good way to communicate the series to me, to kind of like to have some kind of intermediary that's not like, I'm here from EA and I'm talking about FIFA, where it's
Yeah.
like, no, this is somebody that you might, that you'll know that like, and the trick is like having that genuine gameplay experience. We had that horrible Arkham Knight trailer where all the celebrities were like, yeah, I played Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this isn't working. But yeah, if you can find that, someone who's not Pele who can come out and talk about it, that can potentially have an impact. So yeah, beyond that, I don't know if there's anything we're talking about here. That's just one thing I noticed.
I
I
think
didn't
it's-
notice until I saw a shot of the women.
I think
was
it's
like,
2
oh,
shots.
yeah.
I think there's 2 shots in the whole trailer.
One in
There's a celebration shot at the end.
Yeah. This was the grand finale of their show, though.
That's right.
The EA Gamescom press conference. This particular trailer.
They credit Ella James. Is that the singer's name?
Yeah.
Who sang this?
At last,
They say, thank you, Cal.
my love has come.
You gotta finish the sentence at least.
I don't even know the.
Come along. It's
Come
a
along.
sentence, Kyle.
Oh my god.
But this song also played everybody out of the. This was their get up out of your seats and
Great trailer.
and take off song at the end of the press conference.
Get up off those seats.
But yeah, so maybe not something. Do you think this was a big moment? Do you think this was this swelled the hearts of those physically attending the Gamescom press conference for Electronic Arts?
Yeah, Europeans just eat this up. They can't get enough football. They hear music, they see slow motion guys falling over, and they're lapping it up.
You never know.
I know they are. That's like,
Wow,
that's
Kyle.
okay.
Smart Kyle. Let me
EA
wait.
just
Hold on.
scored a goal.
Let me just wait for Smart Kyle. Let me just waiting for that to happen.
No, I honestly, when we rate trailers, I think this is a good trailer, and I do think it was a good way to end your show. I'm completely fine with it.
Is it what? Huh?
I mean,
Is it a good way to end our conversation on EA, or should we talk about Plants vs Zombies?
you.
Seen
Oh,
it?
here we
This
go.
is the
Seen
old
it?
trailer, isn't it?
Seen it?
Have we?
Seen it?
All right,
They're
I
old
saw-
shots.
I saw some
Oh, wait.
gameplay.
No, but don't cut away. You never know. They're like doing a
We're
rewinding
rewinding.
thing,
What are we rewinding for?
right?
Okay, so that's from the trailer last night.
Okay.
Active time. Or is it like the name of the stream?
That's the name
that
of
they're
their
doing?
like program.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're done.
Oh, did that just end?
Okay.
Looks like it's done.
Well, I mean, you know what though? One thing that I wish that we had brought that up before, because once I saw like those guys sitting in the chairs, it's kind of like, oh, that's what this is. Okay, you know, like they're in a conference room somewhere. It's it has the casualness, say, of a Zelda gameplay reveal. So yeah, that's probably what I would have been expecting. But was that live? Did he play it live?
Yeah.
Wow, and died super fast, and then just didn't
go back
didn't
to
reboot.
it?
I didn't see them holding onto a controller or anything, but.
But yeah, so if you're gonna pre-package that footage, it's a weird way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Have him,
They don't
have
care,
him
man.
die, especially like you said when he dies before, and
Yeah.
the last huge gameplay demo that we saw and played.
Oh, yeah.
Death was a huge deal.
That was how you
potentially,
activate a
because-
summon. Yeah. And so I really thought a summon was.
Does that
coming.
work every time? Like death just it does that, or is there like a cooldown on that? Like
I
you
definitely
can
think
do it
there's a
upon
cooldown.
death, but like you can't use it again.
You
for
probably got to
another half an hour or
go
something.
camping again or something before
Right.
you can summon again.
Did we ever get a smug Kyle?
We
Yeah,
got a
we did.
couple.
There it is. There it is.
They knew
So, yeah.
I was trolling. I think I wasn't a good enough troll. Like when you can identify the troll, it doesn't work.
Back to FIFA for a second, though. I mean, you smug it up and you jest, but that game sells bananas in the UK.
Yeah.
Of course, I think it's apt that they ended their press conference with that, and it's going to sell a ton.
And I think just the size of Gamescom, the location of Gamescom, and the beginning of the FIFA season is just perfect.
Oh.
You know, you clearly get that from the trailer. Actually, there was a baseball trailer that had like a springtime song or something earlier that I really enjoyed. I think for like MLB The Show.
Oh, last year,
And
yeah.
I think that's another thing that I do enjoy when trailers do is less like sports are rad, sports are awesome, and more just like I love basketball. I love it, you know. Like even though the script is like really cheesy when somebody like Spike Lee comes out and it's like basketball, you know, it is infectious, you know. And that's like the thing about sports is like, you know, it's extremely rare that I will go home and if I'm by myself, we'll put on a sports game, like not a sports video game, but actually like watch sports. But if I'm like hanging out with my dad, golf is awesome. If I'm hanging out with my brother, basketball is fantastic.
'Cause they
you
care.
know, like yeah, because I'm with them and they're you know every now and then they'll lean over and like that guy was on this team or that guy did this stupid thing or fouled this guy or got injured. This is his first game back. Context.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's certainly something worth appreciating, but it's just like a giant RPG that you're like, I don't have time. I can't. That's a huge time investment. You okay, Kyle?
Yep.
Plants vs. Zombies, or do we move on from EA?
That's
We
a
done?
good trailer.
PvZ?
PvZ, a good trailer.
Yeah, fun.
Fly Me to the Moon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, they had like a rock song. They had like a classic rock.
Oh, there's another song with Moon in the lyrics, though.
Bad Moon Rising.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I see. Yeah.
There you go.
CCR.
Sing it, Kyle.
Is it Bad Moon Rising?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
I see trouble on the
There's
way.
your
Trouble
clip
on
out
the
right
way.
there.
Yeah.
Don't go out tonight.
Because there's plants and zombies fair.
There's a bad moon on the way.
There's a bathroom on the right.
Oh, bathroom on the right. There's a bathroom on the right, really?
No, there's a bad moon on the rise.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe.
There's a bathroom.
No,
on the right.
yeah. No, that's the Wayne's World.
It's a good lyric, actually, yeah.
That was a classic Wayne's World episode where they did the top 10 misunderstood. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. That's
Yeah.
another good one.
Yeah, that's like a list on Buzzworthy now. You know what I mean?
Right. When it used to be Wayne's World.
It used to
Anyway,
be-
I used to rely on Wayne Campbell for that kind of updated news. Where did we go? What happened in Wayne's World? So yeah, there's plenty of announcements. That was just EA. And there's tons of other stuff. There were 4 specific things that I was excited about. And then, you know, we got Mr. Daniel Bloodworth who's on the couch. Mr. Bloodworth, I'm going to be speaking about Mafia 3, Final Fantasy 15, Destiny the Taken King, and Lego Dimensions. Other than EA, just check if there's anything we're missing. Just look at headlines, check the Twitters, check the
Okay.
Facebooks.
And,
You guys
well-
have all the back of your brains.
Well,
Now-
we have an annoying issue right now that we're recording.
Oh, good.
Great.
Is there no internet?
No. Dark Souls 3, Ben Moore wrote this amazing preview. It's up on our site and on our YouTube right now. Went live as soon as we went live. But apparently Bandai Namco Europe is slacking and letting people get cam footage of the stuff we weren't allowed to record.
Oh, rad. Great.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, cool.
No. It doesn't affect Ben's piece. Ben's piece. It doesn't.
You can't see the stuff he's talking about unless you watch somebody else's video at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. Go watch Ben's piece anyway.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
These are the struggles we face. We got it tough, let me tell you guys. I mean, real talk, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
No.
Like, we got to play Dark Souls 3, but who cares? You know, it's all about putting it in the video. Doesn't mean anything just to play it.
Just to be clear, Brandon's being sarcastic right now. This is a facetious version of
That was
Brandon.
not. I was making my facetious face.
No, see, it's the same as your
I was
smiling.
being facetious.
Oh my gosh.
But it is kind of. I mean, Dark Souls. Boom. There you go. Dark Souls 3. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But and the embargo's finally lifted. Ben played it. This was the demo that we saw at. I played it at Comic-Con. And this is the demo that we saw at E3. So it's like they showed off at E3. It's played live from E3. Some people got to play it at E3 behind closed doors. Then it's playable again at Comic-Con. And now a little bit more expanded. They have a specific event pre-Gamescom so people can come out, not in Germany, but they're like, we want journalists to come to. They played in like a castle or something.
Yeah, they played at a castle.
You know, it's just like one of these classic weirdo, events. Where they're very specific. They really want you to get hyped around the whole thing. And then they're just like, whatever you do, don't show anyone any of this. It's like, you already showed it to, you showed it to hundreds of people at E3.
Yeah.
Like, what are you, and one of Ben's, predictions was that we saw that trailer yesterday. The trailer's amazing. And that like they have this demo that's just not, at parts could not be performing as well as that trailer, but like I can't think that demo would do anything negative for them at all. Come on, that like there would be any kind of backlash about like, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess they did. They had the whole lighting thing with Dark Souls 2, right?
Yeah.
Are they afraid of that? Is
Maybe.
it basically just backlash from that, where like the shadows looked good and then didn't?
Yeah, and then it's called a downgrade.
And
You're
it's
right.
like the first. It's not. I mean, they made Bloodborne, and that was their first big next gen outing. But this is the first next gen Dark Souls.
No, Brandon.
So
you're right. It's probably exactly that. It's just
Yeah.
like we don't want to be called a downgrade again. Like, don't look at it.
Yeah, of course the must be nice.
It's never been more appropriate. Just like a little Ben with his little smile, just like.
And I know this is just completely tangent, but like I am coming back from a different event that I can actually talk about later today. I can talk about GT Live tonight because the embargo. Waiting on that embargo. That embargo comes up this afternoon.
When? What?
Yeah, embargoes everywhere. But thankfully I remember that because it's easy to forget stuff like that. But I'm coming back at the airport, going to fly back into LAX, and there's Ben Moore playing Hearthstone on his phone and sitting by the gate in the airport. So I like spectate him, and I can just see him on his phone, like, oh, Brent's spectating me, and then walk up like, hey, Ben.
What if he was just like,
Yeah, exactly.
and he just closed it?
But literally, I saw him on his giant phone playing Hearthstone. And 2 giant dollar signs on his face, big perky smile. Thank you, Kyle, for creating that image. Yeah, I mean, Dark Souls 3 is amazing. He played it; it's great. There's tons to talk about, and it is. You have to imagine it is frustrating to be like, we want to show this to you. We want to specifically for no reason whatsoever, other than to categorically be like, awesome, 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 awesome. And Bandai's like, no, don't.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa, well, put on the brakes. Let's just kind of, I don't want to get too excited about Dark Souls 3. But we are still pretty damn excited. That's the thing. Everyone's going to be excited no matter what the heck GT does.
That's why I'm totally cool with Final Fantasy 15 just dying to a Marlboro or whatever.
Marlboro? What is it?
Marlboro?
I mean, that's the cigarette company. Is it the same, pronounced the same way? I know it's not spelled the same way.
I think it's Marlboro without an L is the cigarette, and Marlboro is the Final Fantasy.
Did they spell the same?
No, they're not spelled the same.
Cue corrections music.
Okay.
Does a
I
cigarette?
think they're close. I think it probably is a takeoff of that because it's used to poison breath.
It's absolutely a take on that, and they had to add the L to not get in trouble.
And I've said...
No, there's an L in the
There's
cigarette
an L in the
company.
cigarette.
Yeah.
Oh, so then there isn't in the Final Fantasy character then. Then it's the other way
No,
around.
there's an R too.
No.
Get to the bottom of this.
Okay, so it's Marlboro cigarettes, Marlboro the character. Can we settle on that?
I think it's like Marlboro. I think there's 3 O's in there somewhere.
Oh my
Even
gosh.
Chad
I
is
can't
split.
find Marlboro
Even
anywhere.
Chad is split.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of Marlboro, but
Oh, maybe that's it.
Oh, so Marlboro is the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Marlboro is
Marlboro.
the cigarettes. There's no initial R. in
What about a
Marlboro.
Marlboro smoking a Marlboro?
Okay, all right. Marlboro Monster, Marlboro cigarettes. We got it. Thank you, chat, for helping us through that.
And I've said some fairly unpopular things about Final Fantasy 15 across all sorts of stupid, ways to approach the game. But like, I've killed so many of those in my day. That's definitely like a fun, iconic thing that
Yeah.
I sure would have liked to look at longer than 25 seconds.
No. That was the perfect tease. So that was it, Brandon. It was like, because you were just
it's
talking about...
but it's so funny that like they school a behemoth. School it. They go in and like...
No, they don't.
They get beat and then they realize
Yeah.
they got to come back. But at
Exactly.
the end of the demo, like they show off,
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
And then a Marlboro just wipes him out.
Perfect.
Try again.
Because we were just talking about Bandai Namco being too protective of Dark Souls. And it's
True.
Like,
Yep, good point.
Here, they're like, here it is. This is the game where it is right now.
I like them kind of laughing after when he dies. They're just
Yeah.
kind of like, ha ha ha. Terrible performance. Anyway.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the prettiest looking Marlboro I've ever seen.
Yeah.
With all of the
I've seen some
the
pretty
barfing fog.
gorgeous Marlboros in my
Yeah.
day.
The one in Crystal Chronicles. Pretty nice. What else? Any other emergencies that we got other than Bandai Namco?
Mafia 3.
Mafia 3 was the first on my list. So
Sure, absolutely.
we can walk that trailer. So you got your headphones on. Make sure you have sound so you can watch it.
You guys want sound?
Elise wants sound. Kyle and I are good.
VO is great. Soundtrack's great. Yeah, it's worth listening to.
I've just seen some people that were cracking up a little bit. Like, it is a little scripted. It's a little cheeseball. It's a little presentational. It feels like a trailer presentation and not so much like a slice of life, you know. Whereas like they could have gone a little less presentationally and more kind of focusing on the story.
By the way, love that Hangar 13 logo.
Yeah.
Kojima-esque.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Have we gotten Huber's thoughts? Because he did his Huber hype on Mafia this
Huber's
week.
still sleeping.
Right.
Huber has not seen this yet. I would love Huber's thoughts on this, though. Because, again, I was seeping through the YouTube comments, and people are like, no Vito? No Joe? This ain't Mafia. People are very mad about this trailer, actually.
I will say the one thing that excites me a lot about this trailer is Infamous 2 is like the only open world New Orleans game ever, right?
Nope. Sly Cooper.
Well, right, yeah. Look, the first one?
Second one.
Okay.
There's like one of the hubs is like New
That
Orleans-esque.
was released
Yeah.
after the PS2. You know, like there was a real deal. Like, oh hey,
It
look, it's
holds
that
up.
street,
Is
and
it,
not like yeah, okay,
Assassin's
New Orleans, I
Creed?
get it.
The Vita Assassin's Creed in that.
There's a New Orleans Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, with Abilene or whatever, right? Isn't it New Orleans?
No, I think
Isn't
that's like
that France?
colonial America.
Well, yeah, but it's in the bayou.
Yeah.
Okay. There's that Gambit game that Ian pitched in our countdown.
But anyway, yeah, maybe. Oh, I do want to make it clear that Vito is in the game. The YouTube comments are all wrong. Vito's the guy on the far right at the end of the trailer.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I have played the Mafia games before. I've never gotten deep into the Mafia games. I played them like because they were in a countdown or like I did like a shotgun montage one time and like, you know, played Mafia for a couple seconds, like did like the first mission. So yeah, never really dived deep in that, which is surprising because I love GTA, I love, you know, Saints Row, I love, you know, open world crime drama games. But I mean, it is CG. It is story focused. They kind of do. Did you see what they did there with the little dialogue twist? He thought he was talking to you.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. Never
Oh,
mind.
okay.
Well, you think he's talking to you, and then he like specifically looks up into the rear view, and you see that he was talking to this
You don't know what family is.
this poor chap.
Okay, I got corrected again. It was Paris that Sly Cooper happens in.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
I swore that was New Orleans.
Yeah, because
Nolans.
Okay. Elise is on it.
New Orleans is absolute number one on my travel list.
Okay.
If somebody gave me a free ticket to anywhere in the world, I would say New Orleans. I've never been there. I'm dying to go there.
And this will be a $60 ticket.
But
Like,
boom.
you can like go and hang out in New Orleans and like
Yeah.
do bad stuff.
Done.
In the 70s.
I went in May, but to me the poverty was really hard to handle because there's a ton of poverty there.
All right, then screw it.
No, but I mean.
No, forget it. Fine. I won't go.
Wait,
Liz.
what is that supposed to mean? What is it?
I went on a swamp tour and saw some gators and swamp pigs. And that was worth it.
So thankfully you came back to LA where that poverty issue doesn't exist at all.
It's completely different though.
Yeah.
I just want to say Game Trailers loves poverty.
What? Way to make it better, Kyle. Way to dig us out. Poverty's great, everybody. Poverty.
Tweet us your favorite poverty moments.
But I
Let
mean,
us know what you love about poverty.
but I do have a transition. I will make it relevant. That is a facet of New Orleans. We get this very smart city shot at the end. That's not like, oh, cool, you're in the city. It's like, no, you're really far out of the city. It's like a true detective shot. Where like, you're really far away from New Orleans. So you see this, you just trees. So I do like the aspect from a crime game where it's like there is the city, there is like where all the cops are, where like there's lots of street lights, there's stuff you can do. You could get caught easily when you're in the city. And then there's just miles of swamp bayou. Like there's just miles of nothing. No lights, like waist high water. And it's like, I bet There's some cool chase sequences that happen like in that area. There's some cool stuff you can find, kind of like Witcher. You know, you just kind of like go out into the wilderness and like who knows what we're gonna find.
So they have
You see
released.
bodies floating and you tag them and find out who they are.
They've released some screenshots, and they're all guns and explosions. And Mafia isn't necessarily always about like huge explosion, action-heavy moments. And what you're talking about at the Bayou there, Brandon, is really interesting. I don't think this trailer communicates an action-heavy game. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that it communicates the vibe, but I guess there's concern that it'll be too action-heavy. Are you on with that?
I think this is going to be a very. I think Mafia 3 is in a position to be very different than the other two. I think it's. I would not hold it against Mafia 3 to try to reinvent itself. Because it's not like, well, it's time for Mafia 3. It clearly feels like, let's try it. Let's just bring the series back and try something that'll really resonate with a lot of people. With, like you said, totally forget the name, Vito. You know, Vito's in there. You know, it's like if you are into this, like maybe he's a playable character. Maybe there are story missions. Maybe there's gonna be like DLC or another mode or something where you can go do missions with him. Like he will be a part of this. So like we will bring people into that. Like we have, you know, a lead of a different ethnicity. Like maybe that'll bring other people into the franchise. You know, that might not have been into the whole like, yeah, wise guy. You know, it's like we got 2 Godfather games, we got Scarface, we got, you know, the first 2 Mafias. Like we've kind of played that open world, you know, Italian Mafia in that time period game. It's just very unique. You know, it's again, we were talking about with Sims 4. It's like, oh, they're doing this with Mafia. Interesting. And I think I'd be more satisfied with that than a CG trailer that just made.
Yeah.
You know, we had that awesome Mafia 2 kick in the head TV spot where you're just like transitioning, like you're in a club and everyone's fighting and then they're driving and you know, it's like they did it, you know, and Mafia 2 got as much sales as it did, you know, with that kind of a launch pad. And I think some guy just had a pitch, he had a real interesting focused pitch. His name is Ian Hink and he wants to make a Gambit game.
They adapted it into this.
And it's gruesome. It's definitely mature. Out of all the things I have on this list, like it's definitely the one that like maybe the kiddies shouldn't watch this one because it is brutal. He doesn't kill him in the head and it cuts to black when he does. He stabs him like in the gut, you know, and like has the crocodiles
That's a
take him
Mafia
away.
kill. You know what's weird is their eyes are glowing.
Oh, in the CG.
Crocs. Yeah.
Oh, the Crocs
alligators.
eyes are glowing.
Yeah.
The magic Crocs.
Yeah, and so to me that
There's
kind
gonna
of
be mysticism in this game.
Croc's eyes. I mean, the alligator's eyes. They would
The radioactive
so
Crocs.
they're
glow
alligators.
really easily.
Blood is from Florida, just so everyone knows this comes from experience. So blood, they're not being cartoony, like that's a legit croc thing,
That's
alligator
pretty much all
thing.
animals.
Alligator thing. Yeah, for sure.
My favorite thing about alligators in Florida is you'll be like driving down the highway and just the side of the road, just alligator.
Yeah, just a gator.
What? That thing could kill you. And it's just like, yeah, but only if you like get close to it. And it's like, yeah, but you might. I mean, like the odds are low, but the odds are still there of
Yeah.
just, you know,
They usually
horrible,
don't-
you
they don't
know,
wanna do
maiming,
it to
dismemberment,
people
and
at all.
death. I know, neither do stingrays or sharks, but like if you step on one, like
man.
they'll defend themselves.
You have a way higher chance of just like somebody sleeping in their car and running you over than an alligator hurting you.
It's just fun. It's just interesting to have one of the classic, iconic, terrifying, giant monster, actual animals of the world, just out in a field. Like, what's up? You don't see a bear. You don't go hiking and see a bear just chilling. Like, what's up? And it's like, oh, the bear's cool. Just don't go close to it. Florida.
Don't get a selfie with that crocodile.
Those alligators better know how to swim, right? In Florida right now, isn't half of Florida covered in water?
Yeah, there's pretty big storms. There's a great photo somebody put on Facebook of a shark in the street. It's amazing. I've
Check
never
this out,
seen
gator
anything
eyes
like
actually
that.
glow. It's a real
Yeah, look
thing.
at that. Sweet.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a great detail. Thank you for the photos, chat. That's really awesome.
Chat, send a link to that?
Yeah.
Nice. Chat's awesome. Oh, there it is. Glowing gator eyes. Thanks, Ronaldus. So yeah, there you go. Mafia 3. I mean, I think this is something worth talking about from Gamescom, right? I think this is something worth pimping out. You know, like they told people this is coming. Check it out. It's going to be at the specific time. It's going to be kicking off the day of Gamescom. We want people walking around the show on the first day of Gamescom being like, oh, did you see that Mafia trailer? Again, like maybe just a little bit of cheesiness and it's maybe a little bit canned. It's maybe a little bit scripted, presentational instead of like, because it seems like they really want to go gritty. Like they really want this to be real. They really want you to focus on these characters. Really want you to root for these people. Love them all a lot, you know. And like, VO's tough. It's tough when you just write a whole script and have somebody do it, and this voice actor's in the booth being like, "Wow, this whole thing's on me."
Yeah,
yeah.
I really gotta knock this out of the park. Well, Vietnam, oh boy, here we go.
I think the only cheesy part, I don't think it's actually that cheesy. The only cheesy part is he's driving, he's brooding, and he's listening to the radio. This doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
Flips
he gets
over
the
to Jimi
station.
Hendrix, and you get a little smirk, like, this I can relate to. It's the 70s, yeah. This
What-
speaks
what
more to the
Jimi
times.
This era rules.
What is he listening to all along the Watchtower?
I do not know the name of the song. It's
It's Creedence, right? I see.
no, it's a different song. I cannot remember it. And then it ends with a Rolling Stones song, I think, too. I like the use of soundtrack here. big
Oh
time.
yeah.
Oh, of course, and smart for something set in that era. Smart for an open world game. Always smart to have like a very specific soundtrack that's going to tell the story.
To me, it feels like Mafia and Hitman are in a place where they need to reinvent themselves in the same kind of way.
And Tomb Raider and Need for
Well,
Speed,
yeah.
and it's an interesting era, and it's it doesn't really feel gimmicky this time around. I really feel like in our industry, I mean it's there, but like in our industry, I think we are at that point where like franchises have to take a long. World of Warcraft have to take a long, hard look at themselves and realize, like we did our countdown the other day, where it's like when we say a franchise needs to die, that like it's kind of what we're saying. It's like you need just totally start over, not because it's time, like we've kind of gotten all these necessary evolutions out of the way, like going into HD, having that, like when the Wii U finally went HD, it's like, okay, here we go, Nintendo's HD, let's do this, and I think it's a good time to see what the boundaries are, to see where you can take your franchise, and what he means by family. Maybe it's not just like, oh yeah, by family I mean if you're Italian, and now it's like that means something different. What is his family going to be? Who are you going to control? I'm more interested in his family than the actual family in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'm curious to see what he's up to.
I hear you.
Whereas the main character in Syndicate's like, I got this. So it's like, well, cool. I don't even need to play it. Nice.
Okay, I got a bunch of corrections.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
so
what happens when I talk. For
Correction.
It was all along the Watchtower, and it was
nice.
it was
I can't hear it.
It was the animals at the end.
I mean,
Okay.
if you,
House of the Rising Sun.
you put all along the
Rising Sun, that's
Watchtower
right,
in anything, I'm gonna like it.
Cool.
Love that song.
Yeah. Definitely good use of music, I think, in this trailer. I'm bummed people don't like it. I'm bummed that people sneer at that trailer.
Is it just because they thought that it wasn't
Just the
staying
dialogue
true?
is cheesy.
Oh, that's
it's tough
that's
to
the
do.
major
It's like
criticism.
if you take any screenwriting class in college, they will tell you like never do VO. I just watched like Maverick the other day with Mel Gibson, and like it starts with him being like, "Hi, I'm Maverick, and I like to play cards." And
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
like, "Ooh," it's like I'd so much rather just look at this world and try to breathe it in, as opposed to you being like, "Here's what's happening," and. So it can be dangerous. And then you have like films like Goodfellas that just like they're like, that's how you do it,
Scorsese loves that narration.
because it's a good script and a good performance.
I think
It's like-
those specific songs too are just so familiar to Scorsese
You know what else is
movies that
cheesy?
it's like-
Again, just talking about realism. Him like, oh, I identify with this song. I hate it when people listen to the radio and they just like, oh, I'll just turn to that station, and it's like right when the song starts, like the second. It's not like in the middle, or like Groundhog Day when you kind of jump right in the middle of the song every morning. Just like, nope, he nailed it right on the nose.
I think Beatrix Kiddo in Kill Bill driving in black and white is the perfect example of like that monologue with camp.
Oh, just very much looking in the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, Tarantino's a great classic
yeah.
monologue example. Like, he is really good at writing dialogue, so it
Yeah.
works. So yeah, good attitude. Curious to see more of Mafia 3. When do you think we are going to see more of Mafia 3? Obviously, didn't get a date I hear. I mean, this is
The guys are saying that there's gameplay out there somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
They
The
had a
guys?
YouTube link. Yeah, chat had a YouTube link to some
It's
gameplay.
not on the official channel. They just have the trailer in a bunch of languages.
Ooh,
Don. I guess I totally cut you off, Don. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was all.
Okay.
I don't want the tangent police to bring the hammer down.
Just keeping the pace up. Sorry. Cutting Don off. Sorry, Don.
Especially when you're talking about a Mafia game and you cut a Don off.
Whoa.
You don't want to do that, Brandon.
Don't worry, Brandon. We'll settle things up later.
Yeah, exactly. Kyle, you're gonna be hosting GT Live tonight. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
okay.
I'm gonna be taken out.
I got you.
I'm gonna be sleeping with the fishes by 6 p.m. today. Final Fantasy 15. We got not only the thing that we just saw, we got
A trailer.
a Snuggin' in the Rain trailer.
Snuggin' in the Rain. Is the name of the trailer?
I'm calling for corrections right away. I need to know. So Noctis is the lead character of Final Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm.
He has a dad.
Oh, yeah, King.
Right, because
Yeah.
he's the prince.
Yep.
They still call him the prince in 15, so I'm assuming his dad is still alive, or maybe like when his dad died, his dad's like crying here, so he's sad about something. Don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just ignorance first and foremost.
I don't
all
like
this
this
entire
scene one
conversation.
bit.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It is an interesting tone for a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
For her just kind of like walking away from this huge night. No one else is in the room.
Yeah, I do not like that.
Everyone was super stoked on this dog, and then that's basically it. That's
Yeah,
kinda
that
all we
dog's
see
not
of
going to be
him.
alive in 15 years.
Right? Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I don't know if the dog's going to be in the game even.
It's a magical dog, man. It could be alive
Ooh,
15
that's a
years.
magical dog. That's a person. That's a person who transformed.
Oh, okay. You just had that idea, or you're putting your chips in that.
It had a wrap around its leg, so pay attention if there's somebody. with
Yeah.
a wrap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's it. That's like a Harry Potter thing. What are they called in Harry Potter?
Wizards?
Your-
I don't know. No, they're
Yeah, they're called wizards.
no. It's
Your Patronus.
there's a specific word.
But
for
anyway,
it. No,
yeah,
it's not. Get out.
The entire rest of this trailer
Animagus,
is
I
this scene
think.
right here.
Yeah.
That's what Harry Potter's dad was, an animagus. He could turn into not a dog. He could turn into. Oh, jeez, let's not
Sirius
talk about Harry
Black.
Potter. Speaking of Sirius Black, so dad's sad. Ladies in the room and dogs sniffing cars.
You got a sad dad over here.
I'm not saying we need more because none of this is relevant to me. So maybe it's like way more relevant to other people. I do think we hold on this a little too long.
Dad, stop. That's a good gif.
I mean, it is a heartwarming moment, but again, like I don't know. I just can't place it in somewhere where I can connect it to other things that will increase its relevance. It just kind of stands on its own as being a sad moment.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's what they're trying to sell.
Sadness.
Yeah, a tone. I think they're trying to sell like, hey, this is going to get real. It's going to get sad, and I'm not
It's
sure.
a fantasy based on reality.
Yeah, I'm not sure this trailer pulls it off. You know what I mean? I get what you're trying to sell, but like, there's another weird shot. This right here.
And this is bad, right?
This is bad. This is straight bad.
These things are. These aren't good. Is that like a protective shield or something that's like protecting the city and it's not going to last, and then these things are going to come in and mess things up, or?
But I mean, this shot is not good. That's not a good shot to put in your trailer.
So in the press release, they only included a bite-sized amount of information where the father is sad about thinking about what he's going to have to do on the oncoming war with their neighboring Niflheim. I think it was Niflheim. So they're he's the king. Their neighboring kingdom are just a bunch of warmongers. I don't know what the hell those things were. They probably have to do with them. But beyond that, I don't know if they've released more details today. But that's basically.
I think big things is the order of the day in 15. I think they're really trying to go for scale on absolutely every aspect. Like Leviathan kicked the whole thing off, and we see Behemoth and like all these giant monster, like natural monsters was roaming around the environment. Ramuh coming in is a huge, thing. Like like the summons in Final Fantasy 14 are like that big, like the ones you actually carry around with you. So it's just like very different to have Ramuh be like a skyscraper.
I want to comment on something actually. This is Sazanami Style brings this up. Tabata said in the active time report that this trailer is trying to reset the story for both longtime fans and newcomers to reveal what the story is now. Hilarious, the idea of longtime fans existing for this game that has not existed yet. And so I think that that's actually a really unique issue that Final Fantasy 15 has. It's existed for 8 years basically. And yet it has not existed, and like it's really hard to have those story elements from those initial trailers that like I don't want those anymore. I don't want those characters. We cut them out, and so people are like following it. We did that whole video. Do you remember where like we were putting together the pieces of Final Fantasy? I think it was Versus at the time, but it was like here's everybody who's going to be in this game, and here's their stories and everything. And a lot of that's irrelevant now, and they kind of have to,
irrelevant. Like he went name by name and said no.
That character's out.
So the big reveal that they did for 15, the big moment, like even down to the second, I could clip that part out. It's like a 5-second moment from the trailer of like all those faces all lining up, and then dun dun, then it's at 13, and then crash into 15.
Yeah.
Like take some of those out.
I think take some verses out. I'm not sure how late or early they were represented, but yeah, I think it was actually like a versus character. So anyway, this is a good idea. Just say, please forget everything. Please forget all that other stuff. We're telling a different story here. We got to get this game out.
Sean TSC says Final Fantasy 15 equals Lion King. There you go. That's all you need to know.
Sure.
When Lion King equals Hamlet. So there you go.
Yeah.
You can either watch Lion King or read Hamlet, whichever one's easier for you.
Watching
yeah. Or you can play the Super Nintendo game, also a viable option. But yeah, I'm still convinced this is the first chance. This is the first chance in the game, especially with how the trailer ends with the phone ringing, and I think Norris is waking up to start the game. I think it's the first scene in the game. Might have been auto-corrected there.
Also Norris.
Right?
Yeah.
Noctis, yeah.
I'll call him Norris from now on, yeah.
But I mean, that's my knowledge of 15, admittedly, is like you could throw a name like Norris out, and I'm like, oh, Norris is in this trailer.
You're right.
Maybe that's Norris over there.
I bet it's like that. Yeah, and then Prompto's like, "Do you have a bad dream?" No. And then they just like they go out and start their adventure. Yeah, I bet that is where the game starts.
I don't want to say too much on this.
Okay.
Because just for personal reasons. Just because I'm not. Because I
don't want to get riled
I
up?
haven't done my homework. I
Yeah.
didn't work on that video. I don't know all the pieces together. But it is weird to me to kind of, when you say resetting the story, that makes me sad a bit. Because it's like, to me, I look at how wonderful would it be if there was a story that took not 8 years because there's all sorts of problems happened, but because they let that story grow over a long period of time. They added things instead of taking characters away.
Yeah.
Has anything interesting come out of the COD?
Oh, that's
Show.
been going on for a half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've basically just kind of been talking about their esports plans and things of that nature. They've been showing some match gameplay. To be honest with you, they've had the best frame rate for a Twitch stream so far at Gamescom, so we can give them that. But beyond that, I
Nothing.
can't tell if we're really seeing new modes. I don't think we are. I think we're mostly just kind of seeing matches. There's a lot of leaderboard stuff on the screen, so I think they're kind of demonstrating if they're playing matches or just feeding in stuff that's already happened. I'm not sure. But it doesn't seem like there's anything groundbreaking. If you like Call of Duty, I'm sure you'll love it. But
Well, it would be. I mean, if we just see it for 2 seconds.
Let's just
it
see it
would
for 2
be,
seconds, yeah.
This to me would seem to be a very talky show. It's just kind of like, if we're going to show you the esports thing, it's going to look like you're just watching watching people
Yeah.
play Call of Duty. It's like specifically we have to explain what you're looking at. So yeah, if there's any cool announcements that come out of this, let us know. I know it's supposed to be the opposit.
Yeah, all black
We're the
suit.
ones supposed to be telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
But this is happening right now. We see this is how we should dress at all times. You know
Bro,
what I mean?
that
It's just
tie is
clearly-
simply too skinny.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
a skinny tie.
Isn't that weird? We're commenting on commenters, and I'm like, your tie is too skinny. Come on, man. You went too far
these
with that.
commenters are commenting on our commenting,
Yeah.
commenting on the other commenters.
Yeah.
Then we got monochrome on the left.
Come on, guys.
no.
So, esports advancements could potentially be really game-changing for Call of Duty. Style, we're not feeling it really at all at the moment.
No, you're right. It is worth talking about
for the set
esports and
for-
Call of Duty. It's dude, that's such like a mountain to climb. It's like, how do you foster that?
I mean, it's a good transition because just like Final Fantasy 15, there's a lot I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot that would take me time to watch all of their matches to really understand these guys and their commitment to the sport and what that level of play is like. Like what it's like to play this game on that level. And I think what's really fascinating, what I really like that esports is starting to do, that again, when we were talking about, Final Fantasy 15 showing that Marlboro fight versus Dark Souls 3 being very protective over their footage and then not, actually during the show. The fact that they will come out and have a brand new mode that these guys have probably only played for like a second. I remember seeing a video for Dead or Alive for the 3DS or something, and Dead or Alive fans were really excited. This is the first portable Dead or Alive game. We
they flew them out
can
to
all just
Japan,
chill in
right?
a room and play Dead or Alive. That sounds great. And it
Yeah.
was really fun to watch them play this game for the first time and not just come in and destroy at it, but ooh, this is going to take me an hour
Yeah.
to get this game. And I'd love to see that hour. I'd love to see them not only excel at the game but get better as they go on and get better, and then have this conversation where they could potentially say I don't know about that class, because there are the way Black Ops 3 multiplayer is set up is and I don't know if they were planning on announcing any more characters. I know we're getting more.
I think 2 more. I think
I know we're getting 4 more Battleborn characters today, which is also something we might want to talk about later. But
No.
depending on who the characters are, they could be voiced by very famous people. Kyle, you don't know. Randy Pitchford's very excited about these new characters, Kyle.
I don't care what Randy Pitchford is excited about.
But when you go into multiplayer, and the guy on the right here, I always forget his name. The guy
David
that's
Vondahar.
the guy that's in charge of Black Ops 3
Multiplayer.
multiplayer. You know
Yeah.
David Vondahar's name?
Yeah, GTTV because we always had him on.
This guy's a crack up, man.
Yeah, he's
when
cool.
I went to
He's
go
cool.
when I went to go play Black Ops 3 multiplayer at Activision, this guy was railing us, just because he is so confident in what he's doing. He's like, this is the best this is the best multiplayer Treyarch has ever made. That's a fact. Period. I don't care what you jerks say. you suck at this game. You guys lost because you're not taking advantage of this class or whatever. Like, you're all picking the same class. Come on, like, try the other ones. We made them for a reason. Come on, which is great. It's confidence is infectious. Especially for keeping the conversation going for something like Call of Duty. But getting back to specifics, they have these different classes that you can pick, and I'd be really interested to see like the stats on like who they pick. Like if every single pro comes into this esports match and they all pick the same guy, it's like whoops, or like or there's one guy that none of them pick. That's interesting.
I think it's way early. It's way early for any class to be dominant. You know what I mean? Like
In truth,
Yeah.
but like truth doesn't necessarily run advertising. So like
Sure.
this could kind of run away from whenever they have these big esports events. Like it's got to be tough to wrangle them and wrangle like what the players say about them, what they what they pick, what weapons they pick, what characters they pick, like how they approach the new content, how they explore it, because the world's watching. They're all seeing these people. It's like it's one thing. I don't know. It's like when you have a Smash Brothers tournament and one character wins. Like, how much does that? What does that mean? Is now everyone going to want to play as that character? Like, if you see one character win multiple tournaments, is that
that's huge.
suggestive of
That's
anything?
hugely impactful. Yeah, especially for like Street Fighter. If that character wins Street Fighter, then the next day everyone's like brushing up on their evil Ryu or something. It definitely happens like that. What's crazy is that PS4 box right there.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. I was like, when Kyle's done with this comment, I want to make sure to address that PS4 box.
Yeah, because like, I know the deal is super expensive, but like it works all the way down to that. You're buying a month of exclusive DLC, but you're also like your stupid box is hanging out in this stupid interview. Like this stuff makes me kind of mad, but like I see why you spend money on it.
But it is funny because it's Activision, so like they usually just completely go all out with a lot of their events. So it's kind of funny just to have like one sitting there and the other one.
And the one just flopped over.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that costs millions. That costs so much money.
I have an update. Michael Huber is going to come switch out with me to talk about COD
Okay.
and
Okay.
Mafia 3.
And
He's
some
on his
potential
way.
Mafia stuff.
Oh, great.
Do we want to cover Lego Dimensions before you leave?
Yeah.
Yes, please. I'm curious about what that is actually.
I'm curious about it too.
I'm curious.
Lego Dimensions announced Ghostbusters, but Lego Dimensions did not have a Ghostbusters trailer. That I can tell. Maybe you can give me corrections on that. But I was like, oh, sweet. Can't wait to see the video of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So that's something I think that makes sense. It's definitely a franchise that you can see. This is Lego Dimensions. What they did show were Adventure Worlds, which admittedly I need to do more research on. I think these are basically what Infinity calls playsets.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are the separate things. So when you get the starter pack, that's just like the big $99, you get Batman and Gandalf and Wild Style and you're going through the game. And there will be Ghostbusters content in that game, Ghostbusters levels. This thing is if you get like the Ecto-1 Ray or Venkman or whoever like the main character is in the playset and something else. I don't know, like Slimer. I don't know what the third item is. But those boxes are like triangle shaped. And they're just like standalone things. They'll have 3 figures in them or 1 figure and 2 vehicles. And then this solo world that you can run around. The issue that I have with this trailer is they say, they have the gall, sir, to say like, and you'll go to Middle Earth like you've never seen it before. And it's like, I guarantee you Lego Middle Earth is better than this weird playset that you're making. That's not bad. That's okay. You can make us tiny little Lego Lord of the Rings adventure and I'll enjoy it. But don't sell it to be bigger and better than the $60 game you already produced that covers all 3 films. It's cool that it's open world, but these look like just little things that are fun. This looks like an hour and a half of my time, and then I'm done. And this trailer really sells it for more than that.
Unlock a world for each brand.
Yeah, so
Just,
this is extra stuff.
that
These
kills me,
are
man.
all expansions.
Yeah.
So if you played that little Simpsons part, but you're like, I really want to do a Simpsons adventure, then it looks like there's a little hub world. You get that Simpsons thing, you buy it, you put it on the base. It unlocks this portal into Simpsons world. And then the thing that's cool is you can take any of the other characters. So if you buy Doctor Who and Simpsons, you can have Doctor Who running around Springfield or Homer flying around in the TARDIS.
I think the Simpsons one would be excellent just if it has a ton of little jokes and asides in it. I think that it actually is the one I'm most excited for.
You know
That
how I
face
feel
does not
about
say
floating
excited.
islands.
I know how you feel about floating islands?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's called magic, Kyle.
Is that why you love Skyward Sword?
No. I love floating islands that mean something. Oh my gosh. Here they've ripped a part of Springfield like out of nowhere, and it's just like it's just a big.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was displaced. It's in another dimension.
Oh, so do you think it actually was ripped? If that's the case, I'm okay with it.
It was ripped all right.
Okay.
I hate the VO.
They
I hate
do.
this guy.
They show Ghostbusters at the very end. There's a portal.
Yeah,
with
there's
the
a
Ghostbusters logo on
Ghostbusters in
it.
this trailer, but there's
Yeah.
no Ghostbusters trailer. Like they had like, had like a Back to the Future trailer, you know, where like Christopher Lloyd like opens the thing up. And
It
it's
will
like,
come, Brandon.
Oh, this guy's handsome, you know, and like.
It will
So
come.
I thought I was hoping for a little Dan Aykroyd here, you know, and Dan Aykroyd like what? And he's like slides down the pole and goes into the door and what's this? You know, opens it up and.
What I mean by
But
that
no.
though. Sorry, what I mean by floating islands is it doesn't feel
Back
like
to floating
it doesn't feel like I'm going to Middle Earth.
No.
I'm going to be in that
And
world.
he's talking about it like it is.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Is
Oh,
like
yeah.
video games have a thing where it feels like I'm going to a world, and I think that's impactful. And I don't think that these will bring that to you.
And I think that's I think the smallness of something is not necessarily bad. I think I'm saying something can be sold as a tiny experience, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think you can still sell this, and it'll justify the price tag of what I'm assuming these $20-$30 or something a piece. Just these little worlds, which like might not want to catch them all, but if you're really into Simpsons, and it's just like okay, fine, and you're at Toys R Us, and it's like, well, I'm already spending $100, I might as well spend $130 and get Simpsons. Then I could see that sell, but boy, they're really playing it up, and they've really been able to make fun of themselves a lot in the campaign for Lego Dimensions, and this just seems so serious and so disingenuous in its speech,
Hard
and its
sell.
script.
This is a hard sell trailer, basically.
But I mean, the game
Yeah.
still looks cute. I mean, come on, you have like Doc Brown flying around a volcano and a jetpack, and yeah, fine.
Yeah,
I'll take
got
it.
little Ghostbusters.
So you still down?
Yeah, a little
you feeling?
Scooby-Doo.
You like Ghostbusters? Is that
Yeah.
is that a good
Oh,
is that a
yeah.
good get?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I loved Ghostbusters. I'm curious about this game, though. I may start playing it and think not really for me. But yeah, I think it's the
You and your hubby not going to do a Lego Dimensions late night stream?
we probably will.
Oh, sweet. Well, there you go.
That's a big investment, though.
But to me, it's just the fusion of all these different properties is the most interesting part of this, more than anything.
And just context-wise, they're handling it well. Like the last big announcement that they did before this was Doctor Who at Comic-Con, and his conversation with Batman was funny. I liked it. Like I thought it was set up well. I think that'll definitely be the amusing moments of. It's just like one Batman building. Gotham's like all crumbly. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. They're like, go to like the worlds of your favorite characters. It's like, that's a building with the bat signal on it. Like, that's not a world, guys.
Yeah.
But it still looks fun. Still is adorable. Thank you, Elise Willems, for joining us on the stage. Mr. Michael Huber.
You look nervous. What was that expression
No, I think
about?
I think that's fatigue.
Oh,
I
okay.
think he's a little sleepy. Oh, Huber not feeling well.
Got a little something.
Well, stand right in between us, sir.
Got that
Let
China
me
bug.
scoot my chair over to you. Make sure to rub that mic down good while you're there.
Definitely.
So the headphones are for actually rolling
Headphones?
something.
Okay.
How's COD doing? Are they still just sitting chatting, or is there any gameplay we can throw on in the background where we ask Mr. Michael Huber about?
Yeah, throw it on because we're going to talk some Call of Duty.
Have you
want to talk about the
have you-
Mafia stuff you just saw?
Have you ever watched Call of Duty
Here we go.
multiplayer being played in the game? Have you ever used an esports feature in a Call of Duty game to watch people professionally playing Call of Duty?
No.
How long have they done esports? I know this isn't the first time. I have a feeling this isn't the first time.
Ooh, I like this map.
Thank you for the comeback there, Kyle. I appreciate it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
if you play gameplay, I'm going to get distracted.
Yeah.
This is very distracting right now.
Yeah,
Look
this-
how colorful this is.
This map's pretty great. You've played on this map, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This map's great. My favorite part of this map is right here to the left is this water. So they have the waterfall straight ahead, so you can dive down below, or you can, because you have your little hover jump, and it's not your double jump in Black Ops 3 isn't like, oh, I get 2 jumps. It's like a bar that if you hit that, it'll keep you in the air. So you can either just if you're falling, just kind of go tap 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 tap, and just kind of feather your fall, so you won't get damaged when you fall down. Or if you're jumping straight ahead, you can just hit it. Sorry about that. You can just hit it, and you'll hover just at that direction. You can use it as long as you want to basically and that's I think that's kind of like one of the big messages going into Black Ops 3 is like they really want to unlimit movement in any direction they can. So like if you're on a wall, you can aim in any direction. If you want to slide, you can slide in any direction. While you're sliding in that direction, you can aim in any direction. You go over waist-high obstacles automatically in any direction. So if you're going back and you bump into a wall, you won't stop. You'll go right over it. You know. So. What are you confused about?
What is the point of walls when you can see your enemies from hundreds of miles away?
That's a special class. Either that class activating that skill and using it, or that class activating it for their teammates.
Yeah, so there's no.
Listen, look at this guy we can see from so far
Yeah.
away.
So there's
Right.
no. So there's
you
no
never know
assault.
if people can see you, man. You can't just go running around.
I want to just run around. Oh, this is garbage.
That's not COD, baby.
You didn't earn that kill.
You just want to run around, and you expect me to respect you in the Call of Duty community?
Yeah, you're out of your mind.
This is
cool. Look at this right here.
This is so much better. It has like 9 different characters, all with their own lore and abilities.
Was there 9 total? Did they
Yeah.
say? And they
So
announced like 5.
They've shown, I
already?
think, like 7.
Okay.
I don't know if they've shown the other 2.
I'm seeing a lot of
But there's
dirty
a guy.
kills.
There's like a Turok guy with a bow gun, and he shoots exploding like a bow and arrow that explodes and does a lot of damage. There's a guy with like an electric gun that has like arc damage that can hit a bunch of people.
Irrelevant. I'm picking see-through walls guy every time now.
I don't know, man. There's a robot with a Gatling gun for an arm.
Yeah.
That's the guy I'm picking every time.
Okay.
So if you jump in the air, it's like, I'm going to dodge your bow attacks. It's like, I'm going to track you the whole time you're in the air.
And people
by
are
the time
so
you land,
good at
you're
this
dead.
game, they'll be like, fine, see me through a wall, I don't care. Kill you anyway.
Right.
I mean, that's what's happening right. But like all the kills we're watching right now, we're watching pro players kill. Most of them I've seen so far, they're
Using through
looking
walls.
they're looking through walls. and
Did you see the
killing a person.
glitch ready that you can interrupt their that's
See
like
through walls?
Yeah, that's like a perk that you can build up to. Not a
Okay.
perk, but it's a score streak.
There it is.
Yeah, you got all
Counter
these
it.
like
What is
fake
this blue
dudes
thing?
that are running around. So I think one of the big questions of the day, comparing something like Gamescom to E3, is like the last E3 we had, there were so many levels of hype. There was like, wow, we got to see more of that game that we've heard of. That's really cool. Wow, they really pimped up that game that's coming out like 2-3 weeks from now. Can't wait for that. And then, oh my God, those games got announced. When are we getting those? You know, these new things that we haven't heard of. Everything at Gamescom seems to be just an update on a franchise that we know. Just kind of like, oh, there's a new mode, new thing, Ghostbusters, Fighter Squadron. You know, just kind of slowly adding these modes, or something that they've announced earlier that we finally get to see actual gameplay of. So the big thing I gotta wonder for every single one of these entities is, are you leaving Gamescom more excited about that? Like, was there a reason for those people to attend Gamescom did Black Ops 3 need to have their own event?
Sure.
What about this, if anything, gets you? Because I know you're pumped for Black Ops 3. I know you're psyched. Like, we both kind of needed that hands-on proof.
Yeah, it
that,
feels
Black
way
Ops 3
different.
multiplayer was good.
It feels so much better than the other ones in the past. It's just like you said, the freedom of movement, I love all the new classes. It just has this like MOBA style feel. I don't know, it just feels like different than all the other Call of Duties. I know it's still the same, running around in the environment, shooting everyone, but
Well, 2 things. We got to do this so we don't get weird feedback.
Okay.
Because you got Huber volumes.
Huber volumes.
The outlines are not part of the game. That was because we were in spectator mode. That was for the benefit of us, the viewers.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Throwing gas on a
But there still is that.
I was
move,
throwing some gas on a non-situation there.
But there still is that move where you can highlight people.
That's fine.
And
If it's a limitation, yes. But like that was what we saw was their pure cheese, and it turned out, that was just part of their esports integration.
So does a spectator mode excite you? Is that something that, for Black Ops 3 you might get a shot?
As excited as I get for a Call of Duty, and as different as it can be, it's still, you know what to expect. I'm going to buy this game. I'm going to buy my Mountain Dew. I'm going to get my double XP and eat some Doritos for about a week. And then I'll be like, all right,
it's good.
Been there, done that. I'm good.
I'm out of
Beat
Doritos.
the campaign. I'm out of Doritos. Don't have any more Mountain Dew. Moving on. So,
do you think, one of the big benefits is it's kind of like watching professional fighting game, where like you said with Evil Ryu, it's like after there's a win with that specific class. So like if I'm really into that robot, I'm just like Gatling gun all the way. I love this guy. and I watch esports, like it would benefit me to watch somebody play that class, right? And to kind of see like how, in what situations that they use their abilities, how they use them, like how they're able to take advantage. Because it's kind of like Destiny, where like I finally get my like power up ready, and I'm like, oh cool, I'm going to Golden Gun for Hunter, and I just not bump into anybody, and it's like, well, I wasted that, and seeing like how they counter that and how they like get right where they need to be, use the ability right at the right time, bring it home.
I think that like putting classes in this game is not like, hey, we should be more like Team Fortress 2. I think it's more like we should be like League of Legends.
Yeah.
I think that's why they added classes. Yeah. I think that's absolutely why they added that.
Yeah, I guess it is the same kind of like overarching like tent concept, but it doesn't. I don't get that vibe. Like I've played League of Legends and Black Ops 3 multiplayer, and like those are. I don't even remotely think of either when I'm playing them.
So like your character doesn't affect that much.
The characters they're all so different.
I mean, it affects that much, but there's not like they're not going to keep rolling out new people. Like it is a little more like centrally balanced.
No
I
way,
mean, not as frequently as League of Legends does, and like the characters won't be kind of flamboyant. Like to me, I would imagine League of Legends would add characters again. I'm just like treading into this. Like, shut up, Jones. You don't play League of Legends. Stop talking. But like that they would add something more to kind of have like a fun flair, to the game, or add something like like intriguing to the gameplay that you wouldn't necessarily think of, because like the more crucial they get with characters, the more potentially game breaking it could be. Whereas I imagine like if they add something to this multiplayer, it's like it would have to be mostly gameplay focused, like mostly like we're adding a new gameplay element to it,
and
as opposed to like this guy's all about style, it's like, no, it's just.
I think you're not being fair to League of Legends.
I'm totally not, which is why I probably shouldn't have said that.
All the abilities.
It doesn't say anything towards the quality of League of Legends at all. I'm not saying one game's better than the other. It's just like why they choose to make new characters. And I think they would be potentially more locked down on these specific guys. Because you think about like
they can all use the same weapons, so
right?
It has to do with the special ability. So I mean, they're not going to be that different of playstyle until you unlock the, your super move or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be weird if you like have people get the game and get really accustomed to these classes, and then you throw like 2 more in.
They're gonna do that.
I think it would be weird.
1999.
Like everybody would play. I don't know. You just go into matches with just tons of those guys, because just like everybody wants to try out the new guy. I don't know. We'll see. Again, not games that I'm extremely on top of. So it sounds like, are you in a position where you're probably going to play the next Call of Duty no matter what, or?
I've been in that boat for years. No matter what, I play them. No matter what.
Mm-hmm. So is the
just because it's like, why do you see a huge summer blockbuster movie that you're like kind of lukewarm on, but everyone else is seeing it? I don't want to say I'm like,
it's an event.
Because Huber like pressured me to see it probably.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah,
I love the event.
He makes
I love
an
the
event.
hype.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is an event every time, even if you hate it. Every time it comes out, it's a big deal. So I like to be there right at the beginning.
And it's crazy that like we just got the release of the last piece of Advanced Warfare update. It's like the conclusion of their zombies story with John Malkovich and all the other people, and they're adding a couple more maps and stuff like that. So it's just crazy that like we're getting the end of one release cycle right before we get like the next one. Yeah, and, like literally those 2 announcements are having simultaneously in the same week.
Yeah,
and like we make fun of like Assassin's Creed for being like so frequent.
Yeah, when I was
having
gone,
the annual schedule, like you can't compete with that, man. That's like what is it like? You go to like Pottery Barn or something, and they're like, it's fall, and you're like, it's August 1st, calm down, like that's
back to school stuff.
That's Call of Duty.
Yeah, there's back to school stuff.
Did you put that
right
on
now.
the countdown? Franchises that need to die.
What do you think number 1 was?
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Boom.
Call of Duty didn't make it.
Whoa.
There were a lot of arguments against it because they do different things every year.
All right.
You want it? You wanted that on top 10 to die?
That should have been there.
Kill that Call
Wow.
of Duty. Well, then
No,
don't go to China.
Number 11. There it is.
You just finished saying it's an event every single year.
It's an event for a week.
It's just a week.
Yeah.
It's just a weekly event.
And then you realize, all right, I've
picture-
been doing this for 10 years.
I
It's
just
the same
I
damn
just picture like
movements.
getting Black Ops 3 and be like, oh, this looks kind of cool, and you like check the back and you're like, about a week. I'm like, okay.
Events for a week.
3.5 stars, about a week. 8 days, Mike Huber.
That's like what Coachella is, bro. It's like an event for a week once a year.
But you don't
You
get rid of
get your
Coachella.
ticket, you buy it, and that's it.
See you at Coachella.
Well, okay, so we've kind of like roller coaster dipped through the highs and lows of your excitement for Call of Duty Black Ops. So if we're about like with Call of Duty Black Ops, where's Mafia 3 at right now? Where are we at, Huber?
Man, Bloodworth just showed me the gameplay.
Oh, we got to put that up there.
Gameplay.
Here we go,
We don't
2K.
have,
We don't have it.
From the source.
It's on YouTube.
Somebody else's.
Some random.
Oh, somebody leaked it? Somebody
Yeah.
leaked it?
I don't think it's a leak, but I don't know how they got it.
Okay, so we cannot show that. Sorry, everybody.
But that is
I
on
emailed about
YouTube
it.
if you want to
Yeah.
look it up.
But don't have anything yet.
So wait, what's the gameplay like?
Fast paced.
Yeah.
So that's what we were talking about a little earlier. If it's a little too action heavy for Mafia, is it?
It looked pretty damn fast paced. It was really intense.
Uh-huh.
He's, this guy clearly a Vietnam War hero. He is a brute. He charges people and just rams their head against the wall. He stabs people in the face. And just leaping over cover. He's like leaping over cover, shooting a bunch. Cars are exploding like Bad Boys 2. Just
The one
really-
screenshot I saw was like a very fast car chase in a car, like in
Yeah.
flames, flipping over a sidewalk.
Yeah, Mafia is not Bad Boys.
Exactly.
Are you offended as a fan?
So I mean, it kind of relates to real life, right? Are the 70s faster than the 30s? We have faster cars, we have more technology,
More drugs.
more drugs. Fast and loose. It's just a more intense time period. So yeah, it's going to be a big change, but the trailer and the gameplay looked awesome.
It's kind of First Blood kind of vibe. Guy walking down the road with the sack on his back, coming back from the war. Yeah. Why are you pushing me?
What are you doing, bro?
We were talking with Elise a little bit about how we're in this interesting position where like all of these franchises are rebooting themselves, and maybe I'm wrong, but like for some reason, I'm not. It doesn't leave like a bad taste in my mouth. Like the Tomb Raider reboot's not like, oh, another reboot. It's like, whoa, cool Tomb Raider, and like it's not Hitman's like, oh, Hitman's rebooting. It's like this game looks neat. This could be cool potentially, and like same thing with Need for Speed. And like a lot of these franchises, Mirror's Edge is kind of like getting a refresh. Do you think it's time? Will you allow Mafia to kind of take a left turn, and do something different?
Because Mafia 2 was pretty different than Mafia 1. The way the story was told, the environments, it was going from the 30s to the 50s. So it was a big time jump. And, you changed characters that you played as. There was a very, very, very loose connection to Mafia 1 at all. And this is looking to do the same because right here at the end, you see what I think is Vito Scaletta, the main character.
Vito confirmed.
Confirmed.
Vito confirmed!
Yeah.
Yes! Yeah, you see the scar right there and his gray hair, so it's clearly the time period matches up. So I'm excited. So you get to like work for him. I don't know, but I love his like smirk right here.
I think it's strongly hinted those are 4 playable characters.
Oh my god.
I honestly think that's what they're trying to imply.
Yeah.
Because he said like, and then I want to see how you prove that you're all family. Like I think you will be playing as all 4 of these characters.
Yeah, we definitely get a focus on them. They definitely want us to know who they are. It feels weird to like give us this prominent of an introduction and then they're just NPCs.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Need for Speed did that. Like all those people in Need for Speed are just people that talk to you a lot in cinemas. So it'll be interesting to see where this plays out. You talk about the 20-year gap. It like starts in the 30s, then moves to the 50s. Now we're in the 70s.
Yeah.
I want Mafia 4 in the 90s. That sounds awesome.
Oh, it really does.
Yeah. Well, this too, I guarantee, because they show him at the orphanage when he's young. They show Vietnam. The very beginning of Mafia 2, you're in World War II. So I mean, this could.
Are we getting like Vietnam flashbacks?
I think so. I think that is a very safe bet. I think you will play multiple. I mean, even if you play as Vito, you're clearly going to be playing parts from Mafia 2 and like bridging that gap.
Clearly.
Bridging into Mafia 3.
Hubert makes me believe. I'm already believing this is all fact.
The tone totally changes. Like I mean, this is like off topic, but like there was a moment last week when Hubert was gone on vacation and like looked around the office and I'm like, this is a different office. Like it is a whole different vibe. Much more productive. But anyway, less productive, more fun. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. What Nolans, man? Nolans. Again with the horrible accent.
Looks disturbing.
I'm sorry, we got a new fact. Factoid. They're not 4 playable characters. Oh. They're LTS, lieutenants. I don't know what LTS stands for. That can work for you.
Okay. Dang, man, I really want to play as Vito, bridging that gap.
Yeah, instead you're just going to tell him what to do.
Confirmed not playable, 100%.
Sean, is that confirmed?
Is that
Can we confirm that?
100% confirmed not playable?
Because that would bum me out.
I mean, they could still work for you.
Yeah,
but
they're not
might
playable.
be playable in some capacity.
There's a video documentary about them about the whole thing, explaining
right.
it.
And they're not playable. It's confirmed in that.
Oh, wow.
Bummer.
Okay. Dang.
Oh wow, now I just brought it all down.
We wanted Vito. We wanted to play as Vito. We were surely going to have
Surely gonna have that
flashbacks.
connection.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
DLC.
man.
DLC.
Okay.
Vito DLC.
Vito.
I'm not
Because
excited.
Mafia 2 had Joe's.
If you can
adventure,
play
you
as
get to play
Safehead
as
in
Joe.
Evil Within, you can
Okay.
play as Vito in Mafia 3.
Yes,
All
I
right.
like that. Take that to the bank.
Have you? Surely. Have you ever? Surely you've been to New Orleans.
Never. Never been.
Is that a city that excites you? I mean,
Yeah,
it's definitely
Infamous 2. Infamous 2. Love that setting.
not Sly Cooper 2 though. Sly Cooper 2 is not in New Orleans. We've established that already.
It's not.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Incorrect.
Ouch.
French themed.
Yeah, the French thing.
Yeah, but definitely not New Orleans. So yeah, is that a city you're looking forward to exploring? Is that something because that's a huge decision for an open world game to be like Chicago, and you're like, okay, well now we got a lot of work to do. We got to buy a lot of plane tickets.
There are very few cities in the U.S. that are unique.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, that is anywhere. You look on any street and it's like, oh, that's New Orleans. And New Orleans is one of those. It's an insanely unique city.
A great New Orleans film to watch that I always find myself being like, I watched 5 minutes of this and then I watched the whole damn thing. It's Interview with the Vampire. And in the beginning of that movie when they're going around all the plantations and stuff like that of New Orleans, it's like there were moments in that like, oh, you're like now it's like, oh, we'll CG that estate in the background. And like when they shot that, back in the 90s, it was like, no, that's New Orleans. That's what it looks like now. And so it's crazy. And this is before America, that he's there.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that like New Orleans, like the whole revolution happened and like we formed this country of ours and New Orleans was like, whatever, like it's just been there the whole time. So it's like such an old city. That's why I really want to see it is like, those are some of my favorite places to visit in the U.S. Like it sucks that we don't have as much history as like a Greece or a Germany. But at the same time, it is kind of fun to see this like this building, which is brand new, like a Starbucks next to like this building is 500 years old.
Yeah.
Like this house has just stood there forever. So you talk about family, like he brings that up, and it's like now I'm hoping that we get a lot of that. We see lots of old families that lots of things that have been set up again, to make the transition to True Detective, like stuff that goes on that normal society doesn't necessarily care about because it goes on in the shadows, it goes on in these swamps, and you're gonna get into that. You're gonna dig those people up and stab them in the stomach and feed them to alligators.
Really
you look like you're
intense.
primed to say something, Huber. What?
No, I was gonna say just New Orleans lore. David Simon, creator of The Wire, did Treme on HBO.
Treme, yeah, I
And
never.
It's full on New Orleans, so it's really cool.
Is that a new show, Treme?
It ended recently, so it starts right after Hurricane Katrina.
Mafia
and
3 here. Mafia 3 came out. I think it's full on New Orleans. Mike
Full on
Huber,
New
look at that.
Orleans.
That's
It is full on New Orleans.
5 stars.
How long will it be an event for?
Mafia 3?
Yeah.
Years.
Oh, okay.
Mafia 1 is still an event.
Sure.
Anytime I boot that up,
look out,
Tommy
Call of
Angelo.
Duty.
Yeah.
Still an event?
Yeah.
Activision's quaking in their boots. Here comes 2K.
Are you excited? Story man, Mr. Bossman.
I thought this was a really good trailer.
Yes.
When I watched this
yeah.
trailer this morning, I was like, this is a good trailer.
When the music kicked up, Rolling Stones, I thought Jones is pissed. Were you
Actually,
pissed?
It's the
No,
animals.
because it's an
Okay.
open world game.
And we learned it's not the Rolling Stones, it's the animals.
Okay.
I made the same mistake earlier this stream.
Oh man, don't get me on a tangent, but good example of why when it does piss me off. Here's when it does piss me off. Okay. Think about that moment. Look at the look on his face when that song comes on and he's like, yeah. It's like you hear that song and all of a sudden like you're there, like you can see him on stage. It's the whole thing. It's like his hair and the guitar and everything about like the style of his music and the way he sang and performed and like now you see the audience and like where is he playing? What does that world look like? Like what are the smells like? Like what is that like? What do these cities look like? What did New Orleans look like in the 70s? And then you'll see like another trailer and they'll play a song and you're like, oh yeah, the 60s, and they're like, no, don't think of the 60s. You're like, but this song was written in the 60s. They're like, no, we picked this song because it's just happy. And you're like, okay. It's like when a trailer's like, we want you to think of a very particular type of, a very particular thing about this song, but the rest of that, none of that. And you're like, don't tell me what part of something I should enjoy. You know what I mean?
So
No, this is the weirdest gripe. If I use a song from the 60s, you're mad that it's from the 60s?
No, I'm not mad it's from the 60s. I'm mad when you don't want me to think about the 60s. I'm mad when Disney Infinity 2.0 picks Walk This Way for their ad campaign.
That makes you think of the 60s?
Do you know what Walk This Way is about?
No, I don't know what any Aerosmith song is about.
Do you know what Love in an Elevator is about? I remember my mom coming into my room in like 5th grade and I was listening to Love in an Elevator and she's like, what is this? And I'm like, it's Love in an Elevator, Mom. people, they love each other, they're riding in elevators. It's like, no, that's not what this song is about. Like, it's about people having sex in an elevator.
Well, you
know,
will be
like,
pleased.
How do they find the time?
and so, like, Walk This Way is a very sexually suggestive song, and Disney's like, Walk This Way, and it's like, no, like, there's so much context, there's so much. My brain is going places that you clearly are just trying to like put up a barrier and be like, no, don't think about that. Whereas when he plays the song in this trailer, you're there. Like you can think about anything with this song, and you're right there with the trailer. You know,
you will be pleased to know they take their music very seriously because in Mafia 2, when you were cruising around in the 40s, the music is relevant to the time, and then non-spoiler alert, time jump. When you start listening to music again in the 50s, you hear like Buddy Holly and music from the 50s. So it's a very big deal to them.
yeah.
Cool.
And just an open world game, and he's listening to it on the radio. You get a radio, you know, in this game. Did you have radio in the 50s in your cars? Like, was there like a soundtrack?
Yeah.
So yeah, you get so there will be a soundtrack to this game, and that's a huge deal. You know, like if they got those 2 songs for the trailer, you know, the soundtrack to this game will be a lot
especially
better.
seeing your character react to the soundtrack. I think they're definitely trying to sell it. The soundtrack is a big sell of Mafia 3.
Ants man, Kyle and Brandon have the weirdest rants.
Yeah, true.
Sun versus the Moon. Brandon confirmed square. I'm definitely square. Someone get Brandon some sleep. I played Mafia 1 for 5 minutes. I played Mafia 2 for like a countdown we did one time. I never really spent a lot of time in this game, which is inexplicable because I'm such a huge fan of action open world games. Yeah, I'll make some time for this. Coming 2016. Don't really know specifically when.
Okay, that's a very good question I want to ask you because you are the open world aficionado. Mafia 1 and 2, linear open world.
No side quests.
No side quests, really.
Yeah.
No
Not a
XP
lot.
bars.
Does that bother you?
The big deal breaker for me was like, I was like, oh wow, Mafia, and I walk, I'm like, okay, the buildings are kind of blocky. It's like the first Hitman. You're like, this doesn't look that good, but it's a piece in history. Like I should just play this game. I get in a car and like,
20 miles an hour.
like, ooh. I mean, it's the 30s, so like I'm not like they should have made the cars faster, but I was just like, I don't know. Just the progression of the way I'm experiencing this world. I don't know. It's
Got to dive into that story, Jones.
to get to the story basically.
I can almost guarantee there will be side quests in this game. I think they'll feel the pressures of modern game design too much.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it.
I definitely think they'll be like, you'll have XP bars.
Hopefully the only side quests come in the form of working for your lieutenants in meaningful ways.
Okay.
That 100% I'd be on board for.
Be true to you, Mafia.
Yeah, be true to you.
It's 11 a.m.
Be the big boy.
Okay. Oh yeah,
We've been officially online for 2 hours talking about Gamescom stuff. We'll
wrap it up.
We're gonna be back tonight with Matt Robb from and Matt Sohinki from 2 Matts from Smosh Games. And they're going to be talking about what they like to Gamescom. Matt Robb produces Honest Trailers, so I might be curious to get some of his take on some of the trailers that we saw today. So we will be back later today, maybe when our European friends are going to sleep, and or wait, no, they're waking up. Who knows? The planet's a crazy thing. It's a big ball we're on. Did you know this?
Huge.
I only found out about this week.
Huge.
There's other people in
I
other
always thought it was
places.
flat. Yeah, it was really
Crazy.
Yeah.
I went to Tahiti a couple weeks ago, and like the sun set at like 5:30. I'm like, what's going on right now? You know, it's weird. This planet, different places. Who knew? But yeah, New Orleans exists. What do you know? But before we wrap things up and come back, and of course we'll be around tomorrow. You're definitely going to be in tomorrow. Hopefully get some rest tonight, so you will be up for Blizzard. Talking about whatever that's going to be.
Talking about Overwatch. Talking
Apparently
about Legacy of the Void.
Apparently Overwatch is now in the Blizzard app. I saw somebody in chat freaking out because I did like a pre-update or something on that, and oh man, here he is.
Just give me that beta. Just give me that beta, Blizzard.
I mean, yeah, Mafia 3, more Blizzard news, Battlefront.
2015 has been the year of dreams. Nothing will ever top this for me because it is simultaneously every single one of my favorite franchises being released or shown. It is unbelievable. My whole life has been building towards 2015.
Whoa, man.
It's unbelievable. All they need to show now is like Max Payne 4, and I think that
you're being requested. They not only want us to read something out, they want you to read it, Kyle. Did you see
Okay,
this?
yeah. So here, we got the scoop on the 3 playable characters
Okay,
here, but let me know how you feel about this.
Okay.
As Clay, you'll be able to bring several gang leaders into your fold to serve as lieutenants in your budding criminal empire. Cassandra and her Haitians, Burke and the Irish, Brooke is probably the balding guy.
Yeah.
And the protagonist from Mafia 2, Vito Scaletta, who lends the faction of Italians. These 3 lieutenants will grant you special abilities and unlocks if you show them favor, or bicker and betray if they feel you're giving away their piece of this new crime pie.
Little Metal Gear Solid 5 in there. You know, little, like, you go in, you pick the guy that you want to come with you.
Oh, sure.
You might pick people for different missions that have different perks.
So it's like balancing who gets what. I'm giving everything to Vito.
Yeah.
All of it.
Right.
50-50 Vito. Let's go.
It's funny. This has never happened. This poor little computer finally bit the dust.
Oh,
We lost our GT
poor
Live
little
in the
computer.
back. Just in time, I guess.
The computer's like, I gave you 2 hours. That's it.
Yeah.
After 2 hours, I'm done. Let us know, chat. Did we miss anything else? Thank you, Akaneku. Thank you, everybody.
You did promise a little Destiny at the beginning of the show. What did you want to say about?
I've changed my mind.
Okay.
No,
Wow.
I just see a lot of people. I played Destiny a lot. I reviewed Destiny. The one person who can talk about Destiny is now on the floor trying to fix the PC, but hopefully Matt Blair will join Mr. Daniel Bloodworth on the couch. This is my fire team right here. This is my Destiny fire team right here, guys.
Review Fire Team, the original Fire Team.
Yep.
Remember Destiny's launch?
We took down Fogoth. Absolutely, I remember that. Yes.
Blair,
So
are you
just-
still killing Fogoth?
Is that PC not happening? Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Thank you, PC. Thank you very much. Take a nap. Have a seat on that couch. Let's talk about Destiny, Matt Blair. It seems like everybody's really excited about Taken King. It seems like Taken King's got this kind of like changing everything vibe, and I wish I had the specific details.
Leveling. Completely changed.
I really spent this morning looking at videos rather than like going through fact sheets, but as I want to do and get in trouble for. But yeah, it seems like they're totally rebooting the leveling system. I saw another tweet that was like, if you are basically me and you leveled and got to like, how far did you get? Like 23, 24, like right at launch before they started adding stuff.
Oh, I did not even max out.
I got into like low
Yeah.
20s,
Yeah.
and then was just like, okay, I'm done. And then I didn't keep going and just kind of like fed off of Andrea Renee's hype to get like updates and excitement about it. And Mr. Matt Blair.
Professional.
But it seems like for me, they're like you can come right in and get right up to that level. Like there's like Warcraft does that classically, where they're just like, hey, come in the game and you'll be level 99 in 5 seconds. So they're like, this is clearly a stage that we want to really encourage new and old players to come in and catch up really quickly with these people so they can experience the new stuff. I'm tempted to make that face too, Kyle, but everyone's real excited. I'm seeing like lots of
Because then it always comes down to gear. That's what World of Warcraft is. It's like everyone's level 100, but it's like who has better stats because of the gear that they have earned, and that is.
It's not up to 100 now. What is it? It's got to be in the 40s or something. What is it now? Maybe Chad will
It
tell
goes to
us.
40. Destiny goes to 40.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying Warcraft goes to 100.
Right.
You know,
But
but it's all about the gear. You know, it makes it so everyone can be level cap and technically do everything in the game, I guess. I don't know the exact details. I mean, I would think you obviously need better gear to do the higher raid stuff. So when you look at it, isn't it kind of the same thing as it was with light?
I never got
know
a
what I'm
light
saying?
level. No, I checked out.
What do you
when
think,
we
Blair?
got,
Blair,
when
we
we got
need
to
you
light
on this.
levels.
What?
What's
The levels
Cool, let's
changed.
talk about
Is
Destiny.
this thing on?
Yes.
Don, are we good?
So isn't it technically the same kind of thing? Because it all comes down to gear anyway. Like if you're level 40,
Yeah, I think it's always going to come down to the gear is how they keep it balanced.
Yeah.
Because then you have the same base player classes, but then the gear is just how you kind of personalize yourself. But in the background, they don't release a gun to you until they know that it's not going to be, ridiculously overpowered. These days, I think they've gotten their crap together. When they launched, there were some overpowered guns, Galahorn, whatever, take your pick. But
Man, Brandon's saying everyone is excited is insane.
I'm
to
seeing
me.
a lot of excitement.
Where's the excitement
seeing
in
a lot
Matt
of
Blair?
excitement.
Even just one
Ben
comment
and
of
I-
somebody like this could potentially turn everything around.
Ben and I
Yes.
yesterday were like, yeah, we want to hop back in.
Whoa.
Both of us. We're hopping back in when this comes out. Absolutely. I got the first piece of DLC, but not the second, the Temple of Osiris and all that.
Yeah.
I really meant to hop in. I really, really wanted to, but I didn't do enough in the first one to really say, okay, I'm actually going to give this time.
So what is different about the Taken King, where it's just like, oh, okay, that thing that I said no to before, I'm saying yes to now. What changed?
Nolan North. No,
Oh my god.
Well, it's interesting. The one thing I will say, actually, it's specifically about the trailer. So I don't know if there's any gameplay stuff you wanted to cover before. I talk about editing.
just everything I've heard so far about way more of everything. The first 2 DLCs were so small. I felt like, all right, here's like 3 missions, and then all right, you have your raid. Whereas this is a ton of missions, a ton of strikes, new environment, new class, right?
Yeah.
New
You
class,
remember
new leveling.
when we first started talking about Destiny, they were talking about the 10-year plan. They don't really say that anymore.
They do.
They don't say 10 years.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Are they seriously still saying that?
They recently said your character will last.
No.
10 years.
Yes, that you can confirm that all you want, but it's pretty clear that, especially with the first like few months or whatever worth of DLC, that they were milking it as hard as they could for 10 years, and they got a lot of complaints. They absolutely got a ton of complaints, and so they had to rework the plan. And so they've thrown a lot more significant stuff in there, probably sooner than they thought. And that's a good thing. They're being agile with it. They're not just blindly throwing stuff out there expecting people to come and feed from it. It's pretty clear that they've had to make some changes on the fly. It's unfortunate that you have to, replace some voice actors and stuff like that. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. At least it doesn't start being a new voice. We'll see how they handle that going forward. But this is kind of a new realm as well, right? Like a first-person shooter franchise that just kind of story-based, lasting a really long time, and putting the flag down and saying this is going to last a really long time is a tough thing to do, and then also adapt. So that's where people kind of have bad reactions, where it's like, wait a minute, what are you changing, and why are you changing this, and all that crap. But they have to, in order to.
There's no other game right now that has a $40 DLC expansion this fall. Like they don't have to do any of this.
Pretty sure Call of Duty has $40 worth of DLC every year.
Right, but it's not a year old. So like it is a very unique situation that Destiny is in. It's like, hey, this game is a year old. How do we make people care about this year-old game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and also without a subscription, there's that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games that give you a subscription, that give you constant updates, and that's how they justify you paying for it on a regular basis. These guys are reworking the game completely.
Not having a subscription is the best thing, because the door is always open for Destiny. Whereas World of Warcraft, I have been playing for a decade.
Yeah.
But it's a subscription, so when my account is canceled, it takes a lot for me to get out my wallet, punch in the numbers, and reactivate my account. Whereas Destiny, sitting on my shelf, I can pop that in anytime. Sure, there's a ton of new
because then you
deals.
have to take out your wallet, punch in the number, go to the PSN store, find the Taken King.
You can still play without it.
You're not going to, though. We're talking
you
about
won't.
what the thing is that's going to get you to buy the Taken King this year.
That is a curious thing, because you would imagine if you're not going to buy the Taken King but you still want to play vanilla Destiny, that the update to how the leveling system works and the level cap raise, is that included? Do you have to pay $40 to have a new leveling system?
No.
Oh no, that would seem to me.
But
That would break.
With WoW too, you're buying
system.
the expansion and you're paying the subscription too.
Oh yeah,
you're double dipping on
Final
that.
Fantasy as well, yeah.
Whereas,
we pay a lot.
Even though they've only had one expansion, so
Yeah.
Final Fantasy is a little better than World of Warcraft as far as free stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know if there's any specific gameplay stuff that you wanted to bring up. I was a little critical of the trailer because we're gonna do lots of trailer scores this week, and Destiny trailers, man, there's just nothing more they can do with them now, because there's five and I specifically I don't think we're gonna trailer score this because there's just so many other things, like even Deadpool. It's like, oh god, we gotta score that, and that happened last night if you guys haven't seen it. But it's like I feel so bad for the Destiny editors, because there's 6 things you can show. There's running and walking, literally just 3 dudes walking with this big planet in the background.
The Warlock.
Walking. Yeah, right. Well, no, that's
How
the
many
right.
times?
There's the mid-air ability usage.
Yeah.
It's
Gotta
just
show
you gotta
that.
jump before you do it and then use it. There's wide shot, where it's just there's a bunch of things. They're jumping all over the place. Big wide shot of gameplay. There's the rare diamond nugget cinema shot of an actual story cutscene, where I think in the Taken King they show a second of something, because they're just don't shoot too much of that, because we only have 5 minutes of actual storytelling.
Yeah.
Aside from the end of a mission, or a dude, a bunch of enemies showing up, and then just actual game.
Should we do an enemy?
Yeah, enemies appearing, the boss
Huge
showing
enemy,
up, and then actual gameplay, actual HUD up, staring down the iron sights.
Yeah.
And every trailer is just like that. Actually, the trailer says in the beginning, they're we're guardians. They're like, we're hunters, we're sentinels, we're warlocks. And they're like, they throw out a bunch of adjectives, and one of them is they're like, we're god killers. And I was like, yeah, you are, because there's like, you've already killed gods in the expansions. Yeah, well, I don't know if Fogoth's a god. But like, that definitely has been the enemy. And then like, music gets real serious, and they're like, but we've angered a god. And I'm like, but you're god killers.
We're god killers.
You just said with it. You spoke of that confidently 30 seconds ago.
That is very funny.
So like again, which is why this in my brain is totally separate from all of this stuff, all the positive energy that I'm seeing build up around Destiny. It's just like the other like analytical side of my brain that's like, there's nothing they can do with these Destiny trailers. There's no way they can shake it up aside from doing a Mafia 3 from like a totally separate. Yeah. You'll never see this cinema thing in the game. Kind of same thing with Old Republic, where it's just kind of like
gotta make us say,
so
oh
many
my God.
limitations with how they try to build the story up.
In how WoW manages to keep bringing us back, I know that the established universe with Warcraft is a huge help, obviously, but those giant cinematic trailers depicting a moment that you actually see in not the greatest looking game ever made, but it still reels you right in because all you got to do is hit a few key lines and make it look gorgeous, and you're like, I want to live that. I don't care if it looks like potato.
I totally disagree. I think there's a lot more that goes into than just a few key lines and great graphics. I think those trailers are genius for the most part.
They are genius
and they're showing like a lot of them are showing epic moments.
I think what I'm getting at is less is more in that sense, because they spend a lot of time thinking about like what that moment means, because every WoW trailer is a moment, right? It's a huge moment that you either lead up to, it's the final raid of the expansion or whatever the case may be, but they just hit the moment, and you can tell on the characters' faces that this is a huge moment, and you just want to live it. With Destiny, it's just like, here's a whole bunch of things. Okay, well, who's our audience? Like, then they start overthinking it, and they're like, oh, well, we need a line that's going to be accessible to all ages, races, sexes, and so it ends up being like the press conference style. Hey, let's all dance and have fun, instead of just telling a good story.
Yeah,
which is like what? Yeah,
a tricky thing for Destiny right now is they don't have a character who they could kill and you would care about.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? They have zero impact characters. They can't like kill anyone off and make anyone sad from that. It's just sort of strange situation they're in.
Yeah. And remember the whole like Queen thing? They tried to hype her up. Remember when the Queen came out? They kept showing her face like she was freaking Kerrigan from StarCraft.
Right.
And like that lasted all of nothing.
Yeah.
It's like
that lasted nothing.
That lasted nothing. That lasted nothing. It's like, let's get some characters in here.
So you know, apparently it looks like they're trying to make huge steps to revitalize it, to get people reinvested in that.
Yeah.
How do you sell that? I mean, you make the trailer that's just a big action-heavy, you know, oh, we've come a long way, but this new thing, you know, like that kind of like tone. And then on the blog, you're like, oh, and more specifically, we're fixing a lot of things. You know, so like you don't want to come out and be like, we're fixing it. You know, they get on the megaphone and make that the big like forward push.
No, that was what Final Fantasy did.
It still says become legend. You're not legend yet.
Yeah.
You're level 40. You're not legend material.
Maybe in 10 years.
You're getting there.
Yeah. In 10 years, we'll finally be legend.
One day, in 9 years, you'll be legend.
Yeah.
Familiar faces. That's Huber touched on it.
Yeah.
That Queen is like one of the most memorable characters in the game, not because she's particularly well written, but because it's the only face you ever see.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing a helmet.
You rarely see your
Why?
face. Yeah.
You don't see your face. You could toggle the helmet off when you're in like the public area, right?
Yeah.
with
And it was
9
cool.
people.
It was cool because you saw her in the main campaign, and then they kind of brought her back for an event.
Yeah.
So do more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, an important game to bring to Gamescom. It's probably a good time, especially because do we have a date when Taken King's coming out? Is this on your calendar, Matt Blair?
No. Yeah. Yes, but no.
It's this fall.
Okay.
It's coming this fall.
Okay, so yeah, this is your last good
I
shot
think
to get a bunch of journalists together to actually stage these multiplayer matches.
I think it's in the danger
all you
zone
guys
of
in the room all
September.
play together.
Oh no, that's a danger zone.
I think it's in the high danger zone of September.
Oh boy.
So
did
good luck.
the single player mission, dug the story. It was kind of creepy, which I think is, again, they've just got to be different, you know. And like, again, the whole vibe of every Destiny thing is like, forget that thing we did before. That guy, woo, scared of him, you know. Versus like things are like the vehicle races is going to be the big push. Like, whoa, okay, I'll do something different. And then when I want to do that story thing, I'll go back to the next expansion or look forward to the expansion after that, because that'll be more story focused as opposed to just like new boss, new area, new weapons, new enemies. Rinse, repeat.
I'm cool with racing. That's a great suggestion. Give us a
or
racetrack.
space battles,
Space
or
combat.
Yeah.
We all have
or,
ships.
or a bigger hub area, and like maybe like side missions that take place there, or like
Gambling.
You know, like at different times of day, the hub area becomes a battle zone, and bad
Yeah.
guys come in, and you have to fight them or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All free ideas, bunch. Take them
Free
all.
ideas.
So yeah, so that's 2 hours and 20 minutes on it is day 2 of our Gamescom coverage, but it is only technically day 1 of actual Gamescom. Doors are closed. Everyone is going out and getting drinks. We are just starting the day here at GT. We're going to be back at 6 p.m. tonight for a GT Live, which may go a little further past 7, 10-ish when we normally end the show, depending on how much stuff we still have left to talk about. Don't know if Huber's going to be there. Huber's not feeling good.
Yeah.
I don't like your color right now, Huber.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I know.
You gotta get up to speed for tomorrow for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
Wow.
I'm ready.
Wow.
I mean, wow.
And Overwatch.
For
Apparently-
WoW?
apparently
WoW and
Overwatch
Overwatch.
tomorrow too.
Brad Ellis.
So
got
Overwatch is
Overwatch today, actually.
Overwatch.
Brad Ellis is pumped, man.
Yeah.
So Overwatch is going to be, that's their drive. That's either the beginning of the press conference or the end of the press conference, right?
No, so I'm very
Overwatch.
Overwatch trailers hit this morning. We got an Overwatch.
Well, we got a
trailer.
new
Yeah.
character trailer, and then another trailer. I'm not able. What's the other one?
I think they're both on the character.
I'm
But that's
saying
how they did the ones before.
Be prepared for it
3
to
then.
be just WoW. Be prepared for tomorrow's 9 a.m. stream.
no
of
StarCraft?
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
think we're gonna go- we
StarCraft,
gotta go
man.
with
Legacy of the
StarCraft something.
Void. It comes out this year.
I know. I think it might be just WoW. Is what I'm saying.
No.
Be prepared for. Don't be disappointed if that's it.
Legacy of the Void,
Yeah.
cinematic trailer,
Trifecta.
intro.
StarCraft, Warcraft, Overwatch.
So more to come, and of course, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about are these big events, these big press conferences, these big, like Call of Duty's like, watch us for this hour. Square Enix is like, we're gonna come out and show you new gameplay and sit and talk about all this stuff. So easy that we could miss tons of stuff.
Yes.
So we're going to be putting our post show up on YouTube. Watch that, leave comments, reach out to all of us on social media, let us know stuff that we're not talking about, stuff you disagree with, and then either a GT Live tonight or for our early morning coverage tomorrow morning, we will keep this conversation going and talking about all the cool stuff that's happening at Gamescom, because we're not there, in case you haven't noticed. So you can be our roving reporters and let us know all of the stuff that is happening, the tactile stuff, not just the videos, but what are we getting our hands on actually at the show and checking out, that we can all be jealous of, because we're stuck here in California. Thank you, Mr. Huber. I apologize you're not in top peak health. Thank you, Mr. Bossman. A little more casual today. You had the suit and the tie and everything yesterday.
100 more times.
And then take a nap. Thank you, Mr. Blair, for operating our B-roll, and Mr. Bloodworth. How you doing, Blood? Anything else you want to miss? Any other comments or games people are talking about?
Just some announcements that popped up. I can share real quick.
The Bloodworth report.
Okay, Bloodworth report.
So Omega Force, the Dynasty Warrior guys, they're doing an Attack on Titan game.
Yep.
Awesome.
Zelda Triforce Heroes is officially
One word
stated
review from
October
Brad Ellis.
23rd.
Yo.
The Pillars of Eternity expansions August 25th, as is Mega Man Legacy Collection coming out
August 25th?
Yeah.
End of August should be pretty good.
But no Mega Man Legends in there?
No.
Yeah.
Mighty Number 9 delayed. That also happened.
We'll cover that on GT time. I'm pretty
there we go.
grumpy about it.
And
Very
there will be
grumpy.
GT time tomorrow as well. So there's still lots more yapping to do about
On
Gamescom
this,
stuff.
I do want to say one thing. We can't show it, but the gameplay demo for Crackdown 3 is definitely worth watching.
Oh, okay.
They show what the cloud can do, basically.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, here's proof of what the cloud can do in action. It's definitely worth watching. Very, very cool.
I just, for some reason, got him the visual of like Lakitu from isn't that the Cloud guy from Super Mario Bros? Like he's actually
You do
in the
Lakitu.
cloud.
It's Lakitu.
Lakitu, sorry.
Yes.
But well, dude, I got the spelling right,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
No. It's just it's a thing with me and Blood. We fight about it all the time.
Okay.
It's very contentious about how to pronounce that.
I mean, that's a somewhat obscure Super Mario Brothers character. But
Yes,
anyway, I digress.
absolutely. Okay.
I imagine him like in a cloud with the fishing rod, just like
I have
going
seen
around
that.
going around Game City in the cloud. Like they show you what the cloud can do. He's got like twin
Oh, I get what you're saying.
machine
finally.
guns.
Yeah.
You get the
No.
joke, Kyle? You
No.
caught up?
Oh my
You with
God.
me? Is that a sign that we need to sign off?
No,
That we're
because
like
here's
a
what
little
you
bit
can
tired?
do. You can do the things I beg to do in every single game. Is like here's a wall, and then he just like shoots the wall, and like it crumbles out. Like that wall exists, and then he can actually like create a hole in the wall, and it like falls out.
Kyle, do you like Red Faction 1?
Yes, I
you-
love Red Faction.
Oh, you
1.
like Rainbow Six
It's one of my
Siege?
first Final Bossman episodes. Actually, he's talking
Really?
about the tunnels you can make in that game. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Can't help but plug his own show. Thanks, Kyle.
Oh, time to go.
And more than anybody, more than any of us, more than Daniel Bloodworth, as much as I love him, Mr. Don Casanova on the TriCaster stage.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
say that.
Behind the scenes the entire time.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you next time.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We will be back this evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time for a special Gamescom episode of GT Live with special guests Matt Zohinki and Matt Robb from Smosh Games. And we will be back tomorrow morning at 8:30 to prep before Blizzard does whatever Blizzard's going to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then we will do our best to wrap everything up before we break for a quick lunch and then get right back on for GT Time, which you can check out later in the day on Thursday. So yeah, lots of stuff to talk about. And we love you guys. Thank you so much for taking your time to experience Gamescom with us. We will see you tonight for GT Live. Take care.